until they're able. Variant is to the current batch of vaccines. The president is slated to announce all these new policies at the National Institutes of Health this afternoon.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken met with his Russian counterpart in Sweden today. Blinken, an incursion into Ukraine will not be tolerated.
If Russia decides to pursue confrontation, there will be serious consequences.
In Michigan, the suspected 15-year-old gunman in this week's mass shooting that killed 4 high school students has been charged with murder, and his parents may face consequences too. Correspondent Nancy Chen.
The county sheriff told us that the alleged shooter met twice with school officials this week over behavioral issues. The first was on Monday on his own. The second was with his parents just 3 hours before the shooting took place. And prosecutors say those parents have not been cooperating, and they're considering bringing charges against them as well.
A small setback in the jobs market. The Labor Department says the number of people who signed up for first-time unemployment claims rose last week after hitting a pandemic low the week before. It comes as workers switch jobs in record numbers. MLB players are officially out.
There's no joy in Mudville with Major League Baseball's first lockout in 26 years. It began at failed to ratify a new collective bargaining agreement. USA Today sports columnist Bob Nightingale.
Negotiations went nowhere, each side accusing the other one of stall tactics. It never came close to reach an agreement on the key economic issues.
Teams decided to force the long-anticipated confrontation during the offseason rather than risk players walking out during the summer as they did in 1994. Jim Crisula, CBS News.
2 days after they were supposed to make repairs, a couple of astronauts have ventured outside the International Space Station.
Alpha 1, clockwise 2. Alpha 1.
It's expected to take Thomas Marshburn and Caleb Barron more than 6 hours to replace an old antenna. Tuesday's walk was scrapped because of possible danger from space junk. S&P futures up 7. This is CBS News.
Eggland's Best. The only eggs with more fresh and delicious taste, plus superior nutrition, because the way you care is anything but ordinary. Only Egg.
This season, there's a new choice for your fields. Zetavo soybean seed, designed with triple stacked Enlist E3 technology for weed control flexibility. Supported by a dedicated team of BASF agronomic experts. Protected by the versatile BASF soybean crop protection portfolio. Zetavo soybean seed, stacked in your favor. Zetavo from MS Technologies, distributed exclusively by BASF. Always read and follow label directions.
This is important news. If you have unfiled tax returns, the IRS is shifting gears and ramping up investigations on non-filers this year. If you fail to file your tax returns for a year or more, or you owe back taxes, now's the time to call Optima Tax Relief before the IRS finds you. Optima is America's #1 most trusted tax resolution firm, specialized in helping individuals, families, and businesses get right with the IRS. They're experts in the Taxpayer Relief Initiative, make resolving tax issues easier. A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. Optima's award-winning team has helped thousands of people protect their paychecks, bank accounts, homes, and businesses by putting their tax problems to rest, resolving over $1 billion in tax debts for their clients. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-709-7022. 800-709-7022. 800-709-7022.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
RocketGrabPlus.com. The days of paying full price are over. And at RocketGrabPlus.com, we are here always giving you the deals that you need. You can get tons of half-off deals going on right now from Uplift Creative Center, Joyce's Purple Palette, Woody's Hot Dogs, King's Fish and More, and the Hamptons Boutique Tanning and Salon. Half off? Yeah, it's true. And it's all at RocketGrabPlus.com.
Rocket Grab Plus.
Live from the 100.5 and 790 newsroom. This is WSGW News.
Partly cloudy skies and 47 degrees at 9:05. Good morning, I'm Mike Kirchhoff. Saginaw Township Police have an enhanced presence at Heritage High School and White Pine Middle School today following a threat discovered on social media last night. Police say they believe a post was edited to include the words Heritage and WP and originated from the Sterling Heights area. However, after the investigation, Saginaw Township Police do not believe it is a credible threat towards the school district. Any questions, please call the central office at 989-797-1800. A 15-year-old boy has been denied bail and moved to jail after being charged in a Michigan school shooting that killed 4 students and injured others. Authorities Wednesday revealed Ethan Crumley's parents were summoned to discuss his behavior just a few hours before the bloodshed on Tuesday. No motive for the shooting was offered by Oakland County authorities, but Sheriff Lieutenant Tim Willis says that Crumley recorded a which he discussed killing students. Crumley is charged as an adult with 24 crimes, including murder and terrorism. There has been vandalism and other issues for weeks at Oxford High School during the month before the shooting. Sheriff Mike Bouchard said no one had called police to report a threat to the school. However, parent Stacy Scheid, who has a son at Oxford High School, says she did report a threat November 15th.
I want this to be really clear because I keep hearing on the news that there was no indication that this was going to happen. Police didn't have any reports. No one reported it, but I did. I'm a person, and I'm a mom of these Oxford did this. There was a report made on November 15th that there was a countdown to a shooting, and it was not taken seriously.
Bouchard said earlier incidents in the month have been resolved and weren't related, but Scheid believes that led to confusion and police brushing off her concerns. WSGW News Time 9:07.
This is Rachel from the SVRC Marketplace, located at 203 South Washington, right on Riverfront Saginaw. We wish you a happy holiday season and to come support small business. Our global flavors like Creole Queen's Gumbo and shawarmas from Falafel Hut are always a favorite. Grab a sweet treat from Craving Cookie Factory and shop the beautiful stones from House of Serene, handmade designer cups from Chris Made It, or the hottest trends from Asia's Wigs and Apparel. Happy holiday season from the SVRC Marketplace, open Wednesday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Mark those calendars for our magical day at the market on December 18th. Santa arrives at 1 p.m. along with free cookie decorating, live entertainment, face painting, and princesses galore. We thank you for the continued support of our small businesses. Remember to shop local, eat local, support small business, and we will see you at the market.
WSGW weather forecast is next. 2 state police troopers received minor injuries in a crash in Bay County yesterday. Police say the on-duty troopers were heading south in a patrol vehicle on Mackinac Road around 7:15 p.m. when they collided with a 2004 Pontiac Vibe driven by a 17-year-old Linwood girl heading west on Linwood Road. The Pontiac then hit an eastbound 2020 Chevy Colorado driven by a 66-year-old Linwood man. The girl also suffered minor injuries. She and the troopers were treated at a local hospital. The Linwood man was not injured. Police say speed and alcohol are not factors in the crash, which remains under investigation. Is now My Michigan Health. Here's WSGW's Ann Williams.
Effective Wednesday, the name change is part of a system-wide brand transformation, updating the health system and facility names, as well as the logo. President and CEO Diane Postler-Slattery said My Michigan Health is still familiar, but more reflective of the hospital's identity and how it serves patients. She said it keeps patients at the center of their mission and instills a sense of pride among employees, volunteers, and providers. As part of the transformation, all My Michigan facilities received new names, including urgent cares, physician offices, and medical centers. Signage will begin to be up facility names over the next few months. My Michigan Health traces its history back to 1984 with an affiliation between what was then Midland Hospital Center and Clare Osteopathic Hospital. It now provides a wide range of healthcare services with medical centers in Midland, Alpena, Clare, Gladwin, Gratiot, Mount Pleasant, West Branch, and soon Sault Ste. Marie. Ann Williams, News Radio, 100.5 and 790.
WSGW News Time 9:10. I'm Mike Percha.
Here's your WSGW weatherology forecast. Clearness early for this afternoon. Highs get close to 50 degrees. Southwest winds will be breezy 10 to 20 miles per hour. Higher gusts possible. Tonight it becomes mostly cloudy. Lows drop to 29. West winds diminish to 5 to 10. Friday, partly sunny. Highs approach 40. Friday night, partly cloudy to mostly clear. Lows fall back to 28. Looking into Saturday, mostly sunny. Highs reach 37. Then a chance for snow showers developing on Sunday. Rain could mix in at times during the afternoon. I'm meteorologist Phil Jensko with the WSGW Weatherology forecast.
Right now it's 44. Now, radio talk show offering you the chance to ask your questions and express your opinions from around your block to around the world. The Art Lewis Show is on 100.5 and 790 WSGW and online, WSGW.com.
Well, good morning to you and welcome. Welcome to another edition of the Art Lewis Show here on WSGW. Nice to have you with us on this Thursday morning. Lots to do during the 10 o'clock hour. We're going to talk about the Can Council in our region. At 11 o'clock, Bridget Staffolino will be with us to talk about an event coming up next week that we're participating in along with Covenant. But for this hour, we're going to spend time with a good friend of mine who we've had on before, but he has written a new book. He has an interesting story. It's not necessarily a happy story, although I think knowing him, the ending is happier than what the beginning was, that's for sure. He spent a lot of years as a youngster through the foster care system and orphanages and things of that nature, and then found himself. He has a brand new book out, and part of the foreword of the book was written by Dr. John DeGarmo, who is the founder and director of the Foster Care Institute. And in that introduction, he talks about Danny's first 12 years and then foster care and how Danny found music and God to pull himself out of the doldrums that he was in. And he's my guest this morning in his brand new book. We'll talk about that. I say good morning to my good friend, Danny Vann.
And good morning to you, Art, and all your listeners out there. It's good to be back.
It's good to see you. And I should point out to folks, and we were going to talk about this a little bit, but when I say it's good to see Danny, Danny has a heart condition. How many catheters now? How many catheterizations?
As of this past Friday, 12. In 10 stents.
And this one was a widowmaker.
This one was the big one.
Rooted for you, huh?
It feeds both the front and the back of the heart, and it was 75% blocked. So,
yeah. Well, like I said, it's good to see you.
Yeah, it's good to be here.
And Danny, for those of you that don't know, maybe you have heard of him before, but Danny was, in my estimation, and you have to remember, for a number of years, I judged Elvis tribute artists in Elvis competitions. Danny was an Elvis tribute. I say was because he doesn't do it anymore, but he was an Elvis tribute artist and one of the best vocalists I've ever seen with Elvis music. And really showed his dominance when it came to the gospel stuff. And I have to believe, Danny, you miss it a little bit.
Yeah, I do. Every once in a while, I pull the guitar out and we do
you?
three or four songs in the living room. That's about all I can handle sitting down. So
you can still do it.
I can still do it. Yeah, I can still do it. And in fact, I've in the background, and we're not ready for this release yet, but there's a move afoot. I've had some encouragement from Robert Lee, of all people.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Bobby Valderrama from the Robert Lee Smooth Jazz.
Yep.
He just broke the top 10 on Billboard with a new jazz song. So
did he really?
Yes, he did. Yeah, you might want to look him up because this is really big for him.
I ran into him at an event the group did at the Y in Saginaw during.
Yeah. But he's been doing his own smooth jazz now for about 12 years.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And he wrote a song, and in the last several months, it's been climbing the charts, and I think it's number 8 on Billboard this week.
Good for him.
So he's really excited. But the connection there to me is him and I go back years. I've done multiple concerts with the group
Yeah, right.
and him and stuff. And I sent him a copy of my CD of my original. Of course, my Elvis Gospel, I gave him
Yeah.
a copy of that, but I sent him some of my originals thinking, hey, if you can use any of these in the future, have at them. And man, he got so excited about one of them. And so he's encouraging me to follow in his footsteps and send my original song to some Christian radio
Hey,
stations.
why not?
The title of the song is "God is Everywhere,"
Oh.
and I wrote it
Now,
for
do you
my.
do it- I gotta have to ask this. Do you do
Yes.
it in Danny Vann style or do you do it in Elvis style?
The most impressive thing to him and my son, by the way, because I wrote this song for his son, is that both of them agree that I sound like Danny Vann and no Elvis in this, which I tried to do on all my originals. I tried to be myself,
Yeah.
but it just comes through. And of course, my voice inflections are what they are. But they both commended me on how pure Danny Vann this is. And so that might be a conversation we have in the
Well, you
spring, but
just might have to send me a
w-
copy.
we'll see if it hits the charts. It's actually online, and I'll send you and Mike a link to it because it's out there. It's been out there for a while, but when Bobby heard it, he goes, Danny, he says, I'm telling you, you've got something here. It's a beautiful, very beautiful, soothing lullaby type of a song. And, right now, I think people need to hear God is everywhere in spite of what's going on,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this may have a hook in it, it might be able to inspire people as my new book is
And we're going to get to that because that's
going
why
to
I'm
do,
here
I hope.
today. So, I have to tell you though, it's interesting you bring this up because you know me, I'm a Jewish kid from New York,
Yeah.
but I grew up loving gospel music,
Oh,
Southern
awesome.
gospel, black gospel music.
Yeah.
I used to go to concerts. I was either I was the only white kid in the audience.
Yeah.
I certainly was the only Jew in the audience. I could tell you that. But it wasn't, and I have to admit, it wasn't the message so much. It's the sound of the music,
Yeah.
and the sincerity of that music
Yeah.
that has always grabbed me. I had the pleasure of meeting and chatting with Bill Gaither for quite a long time, a while back.
Okay.
And it's really interesting. We had a conversation about that very thing, and
Yeah.
and one of my favorite singers is a guy named David Phelps, who's very much into gospel music, Christian
Okay.
music. Anyway, enough of that.
Interesting you mentioned Bill Gaither because he wrote He Touched Me, which was one of only 3 Emmy Awards songs or Grammy Awards that Elvis won, was He Touched Me. I recorded that song at the Gaither studio when I did my Elvis gospel CDs. So
Wow,
it's a small world.
yeah, it really is. It really is. All right. So let's get back to this particular conversation is going to revolve around mental health.
Yes.
Because that is an issue you carried with you out of your childhood, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So many people, so many young children who have experienced that early trauma carry that for a lifetime because when your brain is forming and in my case the domestic violence and the problems that we had, I was a little bit older than my siblings. There were 6 of us, and my mom had me when she was 16. By the time she was 22, she had 6 kids. By the time she was 29, she was divorced. So all during that time, there was domestic violence, a lot of arguing, physical violence, verbal abuse, all those things. And when your brain is forming and you don't get nurtured, you get tortured like that. Your brain doesn't form correctly, and you live the rest of your life in survival mode and wondering when the next trigger is going to flash in front of you. It is a form of PTSD. Okay. And I just was looking at the stats here from the National Alliance of Mental Illness.
Yeah.
There are literally 14 to 15 million adults in the United States that carry this around with them daily.
So let me ask you this, Danny. As I remember it, and as I understand it, you were kicking around till you were about 12 years old, and then in an orphanage, and then back in the foster care system.
Yeah.
And at what point in your adult life did you finally say, it's behind me? Or is it ever behind you?
Well, it is a multifaceted thing because getting over your parents' divorce is one thing. Dealing with each parent and their issues is another thing, right? Learning how to cope with the world based on your upbringing and who you can trust, where you feel safe or not safe, and then wondering within yourself, why do I react like this to certain things that happened in my life? I don't mean to, I don't want to, but it just comes out while I'm reading a book. So to answer your question is, at various times, there's different parts of it you overcome, right?
Right.
Some people never do. Some people just shut down and keep it all in. But the new book out, What Happened to You, by Dr. Bruce Duncan Perry and Oprah, goes right to the point. Dr. Perry spent 30, 40 years studying traumatized youth and adults and people that have been in all kinds of life situations. And he's proven and demonstrated that if you finally do get that connection that you lost, that you never had, you can't love unless you've been loved. But the good news is you can get love at a later stage and heal that and move on from it.
All right. And one quick question before I have to take a break here.
Yeah.
You mentioned you had 5 other siblings.
Yes.
Did you stay in touch with them?
Several of them.
You do know them, and you've stayed in touch with them.
Yeah. We were fortunate to get reunified, but unfortunately that reunification wasn't pretty. So
okay, we'll leave it there. What's the name of your book?
My new book is called 99 Days of 100% Encouragement.
All right, we're going to talk more about it with Danny Vann when we return here on the Art Lewis Show on WSGW. We'll be back after these messages.
Are you ready for retirement? Well, Jason and Carl Kreiderman with Great Lakes Investment Advisors have a new book that can help make retiring easier and empower your retirement. They talk about how financial plan can make the difference between just surviving and thriving in retirement. Using everyday language, this book explores how a simple process can help you cover all the bases of your financial life, including how taxes can affect your retirement and much more. Your finances are too important to leave to chance. Empower Your Retirement is written to help you understand the must-dos to prepare for the retirement you desire. Get your free copy of Empower Your Retirement by calling 989-848-1188. That's 989-848-1188. And for more on retirement planning, tune into Jason and Carl's radio show, Your Financial Empower Hour, every Sunday morning at 8. Firm provides insurance services offered by Great Lakes Investment Advisors, Inc., a registered investment advisor firm in the state of Michigan. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
Attorney Joe Cordell. New school, new job, new home. Change is hard and can leave you feeling isolated. And divorce delivers one of life's hardest blows. The relationships you counted on are suddenly gone. But you don't have to walk through this alone. For more than 30 years, Cordell & Cordell has guided men through the challenges of divorce. You're not alone. Call Cordell & Cordell.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Detroit area attorneys. Offices in Troy and Ann Arbor. CordellCordell.com.
I'm Liz Clayman, and this is the Fox Business Report.
First-time jobless claims for last week coming in stronger than expected at 222,000 filings versus the 240,000 analysts were expecting. Boeing's 787 MAX has now gotten the green light to fly again in all major markets. China's air regulator clearing the way for the plane to return with technical upgrades more than 2 years after it was grounded worldwide following 2 deadly crashes. Chinese pilots will need to complete new training before commercial flights can begin. The White House has unveiled a plan disadvantaged businesses, asking federal agencies to direct at least 11% of contract dollars spent to disadvantaged small businesses next year, up from an average of 9.8% over the last 5 years. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Lillian Wu, invested in you.
Is your current home loan the right fit for you? Near historic low rates may be a great reason to refinance, but when matched with an expertly chosen loan from Loan Depot, you could be saving money and paying more towards the bottom line. Call a Loan Depot loan officer and ask about our 27-year Smart Term loan or our 10-year ARM loan. Get a great rate calling 866-888-LOAN or visit loandepot.com. At Loan Depot, home means everything. Rates are subject to change. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing opportunity. NMLS number 174457. Licensed in all 50 states.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
Give the gift they want this year. A new iPhone 12 from Pure Talk for just $479. Pure Talk gives you great prices and great 5G coverage with unlimited talk of data for just $30 a month. The average family saves over $800 a year. Just dial pound 250 and say Jill 50, and you'll save 50% off your first month and save on a new iPhone. Dial pound 250 and say Jill 50. Some restrictions apply. See site for details.
What's all the buzz about nasal irrigation and navage? Here's the science. Airborne germs invade through your nose. When your nose gets clogged, it's less effective and germs multiply. Eventually, your immune system can get overwhelmed and you get sick. Navage pulls out the bad stuff so you can breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and at Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Target, Bed Bath, and Walmart, or go to Navage.com for a free gift with purchase. Navage, Navage.
Check out the WSGW Sports Broadcast page on WSGW.com. Want to know when and which WSGW station you can hear the Tigers, Red Wings, Michigan football and basketball, Saginaw Spirit hockey, and SVSU football? Click on the Sports Broadcast box on WSGW.com.
And we're back with you here on the Art Lewis Show, talking to Danny Vann about his new book. Again, the title of the book, Danny, is
99 Days of 100% Encouragement.
And I looked at that. You'd sent me the first several pages of the book, which I have here. It's an interesting layout because each page, each day, has a photo with some words on it, and then there's a kind of a self-encouragement.
Yes.
At the bottom.
Exercise.
This really is self-help, isn't it?
It is self-help, but it's self-help with somebody who comes around you and is encouraging you through these various storms and trials in your life, which is why the cover has a long dock with a lighthouse on it and the storm sky fading away in the background, right?
Yeah.
So it's a light in your storms, and you know what? This is for everybody. It isn't just for
you know, you just stole my thunder because I was going to say, looking this over, you don't have to come into this with a storied background or any other issues. If you're someone just trying to get ahead, these things are helpful. You know, and I'll just give everybody an example here of day one. It says you are unique, and there's a picture of hands and birds, and and it says you are special. But the bottom of the page, it says to help encourage yourself, say it. I am unique.
Yes.
Share it. There is nobody else just like me. That is so true, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
That is so true. And you know, it's the I can do it and all of the positive. It's all positive stuff.
All positive. And there's probably a half a dozen short stories peppered throughout there about people that have overcome things. There's Helen Keller. There's Ben Franklin, and not just the traditional, gee, threw a kite in the sky thing. It talks about, some of their toughest moments when they were self-doubting and people came around them. Or in the case of Thomas Edison, I found a story where he was in his 2,000, 3,000 tests trying to prove his theory, and his lab assistant goes, it's too bad you've had to fail so much. And Thomas Edison goes, what? Failure? No, 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 no. I now have experience. I know 2,000 ways that won't work.
And he found the one that would. That's
yes.
This is interesting. It reminds me, it's a very thin similarity, but when you have, folks with mental illness, they are often told, you are not alone.
Yes.
There's tons and tons of people walking around.
Right.
I had a chance to interview a bankruptcy attorney one time.
Okay.
And he said, I tell people in bankruptcy, you are not alone. And I give them a book with all the names of famous people that have been bankrupt.
Yes, famous people.
He said, you have to realize that you're unique as an individual, but your situation is probably not unique. That there are lots of people that have suffered through it.
Yeah.
And basically, that's what we're talking about here, isn't it?
Right.
I mean, you suffered through something as a child.
Yep.
You're certainly not alone.
No, you're not alone. And in the things that you're struggling with, everybody struggles with, just in different ways and at different volumes.
Yeah.
Right.
For different levels.
Yeah. Now, I want to quote one of these because it just came to mind, and let me get to it here. I'm scrolling. On day 3, I jump right into a story which one of my editors looked at and I went, this is odd. It doesn't fit here. And I said, good. I don't want the book to be, a coloring book of pictures, right? I want it to have some life. So on day 3.
Oh, yeah. I read this one with interest.
From foster care to the Olympics, right? Simone Biles. But listen to the end of it going to what you just got done saying, okay? She pushed through her pain. She received awesome awards, all by the age of 24, multiple medals. She's a top world-class gymnast, obviously. But I'm encouraging that you have awesome abilities inside of you because we all have gifts, right? We ignore them or they're too hard to work for or whatever. But according to Biles, work hard in silence and let your success be the noise.
Yeah. But as Paul Harvey would have said at one time, the rest of the story.
I went and looked I went and looked for some of those.
Well, in this case with Biles in the recent Olympics,
that's
she
right.
pulled out
Yep.
because she was having confidence issues, mental health issues, and did what was best for her.
And a lot of people don't understand that. But if you picked up that book, and of course I'm here to promote my own book, but along the way I'm here to help people, right? So the book by Dr. Perry, What Happened to You, was to help fix that pretext of what's wrong with you, right? Like people are looking at her going, what's wrong with her? She made it. Why would she do that? And
there was a lot of that.
And it really goes back to her trauma in her early years, and you're having to carry that trauma and cope and look at what she did do. And she got to a point where she just got overwhelmed and overloaded, and she had to take a step back. And that's what you have to do when you let's face it, we've all been in those situations where we've either been embarrassed or where we've had a failure or we were at fault, maybe in a car accident, and we just hang our heads. And what can we say? You take a step back. That's overwhelming.
That's that feeling of guilt,
shame.
I have to ask this,
Yeah.
You find yourself in that situation, when you're a young man in the foster system, working through the foster system.
Yeah.
Do you ever blame yourself?
Of course. Yeah. What could I have done differently? Every kid thinks it's their fault. I mean,
Yeah.
not every, but the numbers are staggering. It's like, what did I do? What could I have done? What can I do to help fix it? And yeah, you do. You do blame yourself.
All right, hang on. I got to take a break here. We're talking to Danny Vann. And by the way, listeners at home, if you've been listening over the last few days, you know our phone system's down. So unfortunately, I can't invite phone calls. If you have something you would like me to ask Danny, if you want to email it to me at artlewis@wsgw.com, or you can go on to the video links and text me on one of the messages on the video links, and we'll ask the question for you. But we'll be back talking to Danny Vann and his new book, and we'll tell you where to get it when we come back to 99 Days of 100% Encouragement. More with Danny in just a few moments.
I'm attorney Jerry Reif, and I have practiced federal law and planning in Michigan for over 3 decades. As a veteran, I've also helped veterans and their spouses benefit from special VA programs. Many of you have attended my monthly workshops where you have learned the rules, what solutions work, and had your questions answered, such as, can I protect my stuff from the government and long-term care costs? What is the difference between revocable and irrevocable trusts? How can I avoid probate? And do I need to? Should I give my stuff to the kids or others? Know the rules and what solutions work. Get answers to your questions.
If your planning is more than 5 years old, you may have missed some great opportunities. Call 989-790-1461 to attend Attorney Jerry Rice's free workshop, How to Protect Your Stuff in 3 Easy Steps. This workshop is on Tuesday, December 7th at 2 o'clock in Saginaw at the Capocco Community Credit Union. Call 989-790-1461 today or register online at jerryriflawyer.com.
If your family depends on your income and something happened to you, what? You need life insurance, and SelectQuote can help you get it at a price you can afford.
SelectQuote found Jacob, 40, who's in excellent health, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for only $19 a month.
Not in perfect health? Don't worry.
SelectQuote found Tanya, 40, who has type 2 diabetes, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for only $32 a month.
We shop companies like Protective, Prudential, American General, and others to find you the company with the best rates. Give your family the security they need at a price you can afford. For your free quote, call 1-800-519-0449. That's 1-800-519-0449. Or go to selectquote.com. That's 1-800-519-0449. SelectQuote. We shop, you save.
Get full details on the example policies at selectquote.com/commercials. Your premium could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
Research shows that people remember radio ads with repetition. That Liberty Mutual Insurance Company customizes your home insurance so you only pay for what you need. Here's a repetitive ad. Okay. Research shows that people remember radio ads with repetition. So to help you remember, the Liberty Mutual Insurance Company customizes your home insurance so you only pay for what you need. Here's a repetitive ad. Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty. There's a confusion about how to protect yourself from COVID. But one thing is for sure, whether or not you're vaccinated, you need an accurate thermometer. Contact your medical provider at the first sign of fever, the leading sign of COVID and the flu. Only the Exergen Temporal Scanner Thermometer has been proven accurate in more than 100 clinical studies. Be vigilant and don't rely on non-contact thermometers. They have no scientific studies behind them and might mean COVID. Learn more at Exergen.com.
This is the Stone Specialist Studios, 100.5 News Radio WSGW, 790 News Radio WSGW.
All right, we're back with you, chatting with Danny Vann about his new book called 99 Days of 100% Encouragement. And by the way, it's interesting that this morning, later on after the 10 o'clock news, I'm going to talk to the CEO of the Can Council here in Saginaw. So the discussion will continue, to say the least.
Yeah.
So, Danny, let's talk about at what point in your life you found music and you found God. Did they come together?
Yes. Oh, yeah, very much so. In my early years before, the family breakup, I was the first grandson in the family, And and it's grandma was Italian on my mom's side. So the first Bambino, especially being a boy, grandma and I were like really tight, just, and she loved to sing. When she went to church and sang those hymns and stuff, it was just, it was just beautiful. Mom was a big Elvis fan in those very, very early years. So I grew up listening to Elvis and watching his movies whenever they came on TV, which was rare because they weren't on TV in the 50s. It wasn't until the mid to late 60s. And by then we were already in the orphanage. But yet mom bought the albums all the time. I was probably one of the weirdest kids in the neighborhood who volunteered to go shopping with his mother because I knew we could talk her into buying the newest Elvis album that came out. And I loved music, and I always wanted to be like Elvis. I always wanted to sing. And then grandma was always, either talking about God or singing gospel hymns. So, and we were Catholic. We were, of course, going to catechism all the time and learned the 10 Commandments early. And that's one of the encouraging things in the book too, is the do unto others, motto. So those two things came together early. Unfortunately, I didn't get into music directly until after the kinship care, which means we were sent out to families before I was 12. We went into the orphanage at 12. I was in foster care, 13, 14, 15 years old, reunified with dad and his alcoholic wife, stepmother, who, although she had issues, the one thing that she did care about, she bought me my first guitar. And that's where the story picks up, that the public knows over the years that I took that guitar, ran down to my neighbor's house, and who was a bunch of friends who played mariachi music, and they offered to teach me to play guitar because I was always at their house listening to the music. And so I learned that my very first song on that guitar was Love Me Tender. And the rest, of course, they say is history.
I'm gonna ask you a very strange question, and I don't know how you're gonna answer this. I know you now. I know who you are.
Yeah.
And I've known you for decades. Would you have wanted it any other way growing up, now that you're where you are in life?
Yeah, that's a tough one. That's like, seeing a skyscraper and wondering if the foundation should have been different. It's like
Exactly.
it would have changed
Good analogy.
everything above it.
Yep.
Of course, I wished that you wish you would have had the life of Riley, or the fairy tale life that, I have friends whose families were just, perfect. I'm using old analogies, folks. So the old Leave It to Beaver and the old, gee, everything is wonderful, analogy. But I do have friends that grew up that way, and they're perfectly healthy, happy individuals. I had to come a different route, but I overcame it. Do I wish I hadn't gone through all those things? Yeah, of course. I mean, nobody wants to go through that.
It's interesting, though. We all have our own stories, axes to bear, what have you.
Yes.
My history. I grew up in New York City.
Yep.
I grew up in a very loving household. I had
Yes.
to leave the Beaver household.
Yeah, see, look how normal you turned out.
But here's the big but. I was an only child.
Yeah.
I thought that was wonderful growing up.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think that was so wonderful. I look back on it and say, what have I missed?
Yeah.
I missed siblings. I missed having a brother to fight with.
Yeah.
Or a sister to pamper me. I
Yep.
missed all of those things.
Yep.
And in a way, it's interesting because when I married my beautiful wife, she came from a family of 6 siblings.
Yeah, there
and
you go.
I've almost taken them on
Well,
as
yeah.
my brothers because of my sisters, because I didn't have that luxury.
Right.
And so, we all look at each other and we judge, and we really shouldn't, because everybody has some little little cross to bear in their lives.
Right. And all those things that we have, and for the listeners on the radio, take your two fingers or two hands, open your fingers up, and then interlock them. Put gaps in between and fill them with the other hand. We come together and we fill each other's voids. That's humanity. That's what we're here for, is to help each other, to grow with each other, to be there for each other, to learn from each other, to teach each other, right? And so it's just incredible that we all have a part to play. You know what? You pick up a can of Coke, right? And you ask somebody to describe it. Some people say it's red. Some people said it has a pop top. Some people say it's got, trademark work. Some people say there's liquid in it. It's brown liquid. It has carbonation. Guess what? They're all right. And all those components come together to make the product. And that's what we do for each other.
Interesting. The book is 99 Days of 100% Encouragement. We'll have more with Danny Vann, but tell us where you can get the book.
The book is currently in pre-order mode on Amazon.com, and it's for Kindle, but you don't have to have a Kindle. You can get the Kindle app, and you can read it on any tablet, any smartphone. You can read it right now. Next week, the goal is that one day next week, it's going to go 100% live in both Kindle ebook and print. The current price is $7.99 for pre-order. Next week, the ebook goes to $9.99, and the paperback, as you saw, which is full color, beautiful pictures worth 1,000 words. That's why I chose pictures. A lot of 70% of them are Danny Vann's experience and wisdom, and the other, it's a mixture of things I found all over the world. Full color, glossy, full color. It's going to be a beautiful book, and it's going to go for $19.99. So it'll be out there, and I'm hoping, of course, it's up to Amazon and their printing press, but I'm hoping if getting it out next week, there's still time for gifting people.
Yeah, great.
And the organizations, don't forget, if you're a counselor, if you're a CASA, if you're in therapy, or you deal with people that are dealing with depression and mental health issues, this book is just going to be an incredible tool.
99 Days of 100% Encouragement. More with Danny after these notes on the Art Lewis Show here on WSGW.
If you're Medicare eligible, now's the time to review your coverage to get all you can from your plan. With Covenant Advantage, a PHP Medicare plan, you get hospital, medical, and prescription drug coverage you need and valuable extras you want, with dental benefits from Delta Dental, vision, hearing, and so much more without paying more. Covenant Advantage consultants are leading seminars in the area and are available for personal consultations. Don't delay. Learn more at covenantadvantage.com.
Join us for some holiday fun at the Winter Party on McCarty celebration this Saturday, December 4th. Kids' activities begin at 3. The tree lighting ceremony is at 5:30 with fireworks to follow. Don't miss out on the beer tent and 2 bands with lots of Party on McCarty fun from 6 until 10. Make sure to bring a toy for Toys for Tots. The event will be located at 3575 McCarty Road in Saginaw. This message brought to you by the Saginaw Township Soccer Business Association, Sarah Automotive of Saginaw, and Alpha Media.
Take a sleigh ride with the Beach Boys at Soaring Eagle Casino. Friday night, December 17th. Make it an unforgettable holiday with the Beach Boys. With a corncob pipe and a button nose and 2 eyes made out of coal. The Beach Boys, holiday classics and greatest hits.
Surfing USA, I get around.
Tickets start at $24. On sale now at the Soaring Eagle and Eagles Landing box offices or online at etix.com. Holiday Harmonies. Tickets on Soaring Eagle Casino. Details at SoaringEagleCasino.com.
From city streets to back roads, from road warrior to carpooler, there are some things you can always count on. like the reliability, durability, and power of DieHard, America's most trusted auto battery. No matter where your journey takes you, count on DieHard to get you started on the road ahead. Available at your local Advance Auto Parts and participating CarQuest stores.
The Saginaw Spirit play here.
Bloom left circle. Goal! Halo Mangoni! Spirit wins 6-5 in overtime.
The Saginaw Spirit go for their third straight win when they host the Flint Firebirds at the Dow Benz Center on Thursday night. Coverage begins at 6:50 p.m. on 100.5 FM News Radio WSGW. And great seats are still available for Thursday's game. Visit SaginawSpirit.com for more ticket information.
Saginaw Spirit Hockey is on WSGW.
And we're back with you with Danny Vann, who authored the book 99 Days of 100% Encouragement. Go to Amazon and pre-order it for the download version, and you can pre-order the print version too. Danny, I want to change topics just for a minute because, you traveled around, you performed enormously well for a long, long time, and then it was like a brick wall fell on you. What happened?
Well, I had a heart attack in 2013, and it was in another of the widowmakers in my heart. And in one 24-hour period, I had 2 separate heart catheterizations and 3 stents placed in my heart. I was told by the cardiologist on the recovery from that was the end of my career, both in corporate America, because I was also successful in the computer industry, a senior project manager at the time on a major multi-million-dollar project that I was managing. And it was all done. He said, if you go back to work, you die. Your arteries are just a disaster. You have advanced arterial sclerosis. You cannot take stress. You're done. You can't go out. And I couldn't travel anymore. Of course, my energy level was gone. A third of my heart was gone. So
It's talk about contradictions and things. He's telling you can no longer do your music. You can no longer work because of the stress. How much stress did that put on you?
Well, it was. And I spent, of course, good or bad, they medicate you like crazy to help your heart and stabilize everything, and some of the mood drugs and whatever. But it was all, because of all that craziness. It's almost, and to add to that stress that you're talking about, which is an oxymoron, right, is, about 6 or 8 or 9 weeks later, the bills start coming in. And as you start looking at those, you go, wait a minute, I just had a heart attack. I don't need to see this, and of course my pay dropped by 70%, my income, because I went on disability. And so it was a major adjustment, and it took me 1.5 years to 2 years to finally pull myself out of that hole. But you can see that if you're online, folks, and you see the video, the brick wall's behind me, not in front of me.
Yeah, that's true.
So I did manage to get through that, or around it, or over it,
By the way, I forgot to mention this. I did get a message on our video message board from Deb, who said, Danny Vann is sharing an excellent message. I enjoy his transparency.
Oh, thank you very much.
Go.
Thank you. But
And
let's take that thought that you just had. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. All
right. So on day 51 of 99 days of 100% encouragement. By the way, folks, I used the number 99 in the title. 99 days of, and then I use the number 100% sign. So if you're looking it up, you need to look it up that way. But on day 51, I talk about the journey, right? This falls right into what you just said, Art. And it says huge letters with an exclamation point forward. with a bright red arrow kind of pointing upward and off. And it says, and this is a Danny Vann quote, "Wherever you are today, keep moving forward. Life is a journey, and each challenge is just another stop along the way. Never give up."
It's interesting because to me, anyway, that kind of philosophy is obvious.
Yeah.
Because if you stop moving forward, you're done.
Well, there's a lot of people that get done.
They
sit in the pit, man, and they wallow and have pity parties, and this is to help move you out of that if you're in it. It's kind of get you, or if you have a friend or a family member, somebody that you want to help encourage. That's why this is here.
Do you know anyone at all, who doesn't have mental issues?
Personally,
I don't.
no, I don't. No, we all do. Yeah, we all have
Everybody
issues
does.
of some sort. The real point of it is, and there is a quote in here from Chuck Swindoll that says, and you've heard this quote before: "Life is 10% what happens to you, and 90% how you deal with it. Facts don't matter. It's all about your attitude."
Yeah.
Right. So, and that's in here as well. With an exercise at the bottom of it that talks about how to apply that, it's just incredible. There's so much, so many facets to it. And yes, we all have issues. You're not alone.
We'll do this again, but the book is 99 Days of 100% Encouragement by Danny Vann.
Yes.
And Danny, it is always a pleasure, my friend. We need to get together one of these days for lunch or something, just to do it. Are you driving? You going out? You doing stuff?
I'm not. I don't get more than about 10, 15 miles from home. I get too tired.
All right. So I'll come down your way.
It's a difficult one. Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, it'd be awesome.
We'll do it.
It'd be awesome. But you know what? Along those lines, and it's, I always put it in my books. This is my second book. My Journey in the Shadow of the King was my memoir, which is also out there. And we talked about that before. But I want to give credit to my family, to my wife, to my family.
Amen.
Those people that come around, my church family, which has really held me up. So, and buddies like you. Thanks, Art. I appreciate it.
Danny, we'll talk to you soon, my friend.
All right. Thank you.
Bye-bye now.
Bye.
Danny Vann, we thank him for being with us. We'll be back to close out after these notes.
What's all the buzz about nasal irrigation and navage? Here's the science. Airborne germs invade through your nose. When your nose gets clogged, germs multiply. Eventually, your immune system can get overwhelmed and you get sick. Navage pulls out the bad stuff so you can breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and feel healthier. At Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Target, Bed Bath, and Walmart, or go to Navage.com for a free gift with purchase. Navage, Navage.
This is CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger. Do you want to be a hero for the holidays? How about getting your loved one a new iPhone? That's right. Pure Talk has iPhone 12 starting at just $479 through the end of the year. And sure, they have 13s too. Switch to Pure Talk. Great nationwide 5G coverage. There's the big guys, but the average family saves over $800 a year. Now that's just smart. There's no need to overpay for Verizon, AT&T, or T-Mobile. Plus, with Pure Talk's 30-day risk-free guarantee, you've got nothing to lose. Unlimited talk, text, and 6 gigs of data is just $30 a month. And like I said, the iPhone 12, just $479. From your cell phone, dial pound 250 and say Jill 50, and you'll save an additional 50% off your first month. Plus, save on a new phone. That's pound 250, say Jill 50. Pure Talk is simply smarter wireless. Some restrictions apply. See site for details.
This week on RocketGrabPlus.com, we have an extended Black Friday deal for 120 Fitness in Saginaw. You're going to get your monthly membership to 120 Fitness for only $16. It's usually $32, but you are getting yours half off. 120 Fitness offers 2 floors of top-of-the-line cardio equipment, a variety of strength training equipment, and fitness classes like yoga and Zumba. If you want to get in shape in a clean and comfortable environment, head to RocketGrabPlus.com right now to snag your deal.
RocketGrabPlus.com.
CBS News is next, followed by the local report to bring you up to date on the region and the state. We'll be back to talk to folks from the Can Council. All of that ahead on WSGW.
From the Stone Specialist Studios, this is WSGW, Saginaw, Bay City, Midland, WSGW.
All right, take care.
Carlton.
This is CBS News, presented by Indeed.com.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. A day after the first Omicron case was confirmed in the U.S., the White House has announced tougher restrictions on travelers and commuters. Coordinator Jeff Zients tells CBS Mornings they're also focusing on follow-up vaccinations.
It's a national campaign to get the 100 million eligible Americans who have not yet gotten their booster, a booster, including increasing the availability of appointments at pharmacies, walk-ups at pharmacies, expanding our capacity across the whole network so people can get booster shots.
Airline passengers will need negative COVID tests within 24 hours of departing for the U.S. A country with one of the largest economies in the world is getting tough on the unvaccinated. Correspondent Elaine Cobb is at the foreign desk.
As new cases continue to surge across Germany, Chancellor Angela Merkel has announced that anyone not vaccinated will be excluded from most public venues. A COVID vaccination will be required at non-essential stores, cultural venues, and sporting events. She said the situation in Germany is serious, as 70,000 new cases were recorded over 24 hours.
House and Senate leaders in this country are racing to come to an agreement to keep the government funded into the new year. But CBS's Steve Dorsey says they may face obstacles.
The House is expected to vote today on another stopgap government funding bill through February 18th. However, the measure still needs to pass the Senate, where some Republicans are threatening to delay it in protest of President Biden's coronavirus vaccine mandates.
The baseball commissioner is expected to speak this hour after players failed to ratify a collective bargaining agreement with the league. At the stroke of midnight, it triggered the first player lockout in 26 years. A court has stepped in to stop another controversial law in Texas. CBS's Jim Krasula has the story.
A federal judge has blocked it. Any Texan banned from a social media platform for their political views to sue the companies. The law was approved after Republican Texas lawmakers alleged that Facebook, Twitter, and Google's YouTube censored right-wing views.
Unemployment claims have gone up after hitting a new pandemic low the week before. Bankrate's Mark Hamrick on the 28,000 who signed up last week.
We thought there would be some reversal in new jobless claims related to seasonal.
I didn't hear the news that's playing. Is that okay with you?
At least a part of the
I'll make sure you hear
sharp drop.
Continuing claims have dipped below 2 million for the first time since the early days of the pandemic. The Dow is up 457 points. This is CBS News.
With Indeed Instant Match, just sponsor a post and immediately receive a short list of quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
It could be the best years of your life. In retirement, you want to do, but you have to plan for it. Start by tuning into Mindy and Nolan McIntosh of McIntosh and Associates every Sunday at noon for Wealth Michigan with the McIntoshes. Make retirement the best time of your life. Tune in Sundays at noon for Wealth Michigan with the McIntoshes. Firm offers insurance services. Investment advisory services offered only by duly registered individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
Keep your home warm with help from Menards. Dynaglow heaters are the ideal choice for safe indoor supplemental heating. With a wide range of electric, natural gas, and propane heaters, we'll have the right one for you. Keep you and your family comfortable this winter. They're great for your garage, cabin, or home, and will keep you warm on the coldest nights. Right now, save big on Dynaglow heaters. Plus, a Menards gift card is always a great gift idea.
Warm season's greetings to you all from Menards.
RocketGrabPlus.com.
The days of are over, and at RocketGrabPlus.com, we are here always giving you the deal. You can get tons of half-off deals going on right now from Uplift Creative Center, Joyce's Purple Palette, Woody's Hot Dogs, King's Fish and More, and the Hamptons Boutique Tanning and Salon. Half off? Yeah, it's true, and it's all at RocketGrabPlus.com.
RocketGrabPlus.com.
Live from the 100.5 and 790 newsroom, this is WSGW News.
Mostly cloudy skies and 47 degrees at 10:05. Good morning, I'm Mike Percha. Charges have been filed against a 15-year-old Oxford High School teenager in Oakland County, accused of killing 4 classmates in a shooting rampage on Tuesday. As an adult, with 1 count of terrorism causing death, 4 counts of first-degree murder, 7 counts of attempted murder, and 12 counts of possession of a firearm and the commission of a felony. But were the victims targeted?
I can tell you that he's charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder, which require us to prove premeditation. And it was done, as you know, in a school hallway.
That's Oakland County Prosecutor Karen McDonald, who says her office is still investigating. She is considering charges against the teen's parents as well. There are some Oakland County school districts closed today due to threats in the wake of the shootings at the school. Bloomfield Hills, Clarkston, Clawson, Huron Valley, except for the elementary schools, Farmington High Schools, Lake Orion, Troy, Walled Lake, West Bloomfield, Lakeland High, and Rochester schools are closed as a result of a threat that's circulating through schools in Oakland County. In Macomb County, Warren Consolidated Schools are closed and Clintondale Community Schools. Shelby Township Police are expected to have a larger presence at Eisenhower High due to a threat. State Representative Steve Cara has announced he's drafting legislation to allow schools to maintain lockboxes for teachers to secure personal weapons in case of an attack. Cara said his plan would allow faculty and staff, for the purpose of protecting imminent and malicious harm, to store lawfully owned firearms or tasers in a secure lockbox at the school. Cara's proposal would allow self-defense lockboxes at K-12 schools, colleges, and other educational institutions, both public and private. Additional details will be announced when the legislation is introduced. WSGW News Time coming up on 10:07.
You know, we're all dreaming of something. So why not make those dreams a reality?
A new van with sliding doors.
A new house with more than 1 bathroom.
Oh, and heated.
Even just some money to add a new bathroom to this house.
A remote starter.
No matter what you've been dreaming of lately, Dow Chemical Employees Credit Union has a loan for you. With great rates, fast approvals, and a potential year-end loan interest rebate via our member giveback, DCECU can help make your dreams come true. Visit dcecu.org/borrow for more details. Membership eligibility required. Loans subject to approval based on creditworthiness of applicants and collateral conditions if applicable. Other limitations may apply. While member giveback rebates and rewards occur with great regularity, this credit union benefit is not guaranteed. Not all loan and deposit products are eligible for member giveback and apply. Equal housing opportunity insured by NCUA.
WSGW News Time, 10:08. The weather forecast is coming up. Anonymous cash donors are providing deputies in Huron County the opportunity to brighten up Christmas for some local residents. In about 2 weeks, deputies will begin delivering cash gifts or food gift certificates to families who've experienced hardships over the past year, such as losing a loved one, losing a job, serious illness, or other. The Sheriff's Department will also contribute to a couple of local nonprofits committed to providing services to homeless or other displaced individuals. As an added bonus this year, by a county market are available to recipients on a first-come, first-served basis. 2021 marks the 8th year in a row the Huron County Sheriff's Department has received anonymous donations to distribute to the communities they serve. Between the donations and a previous 9-year partnership with Toys for Tots, the department will have collected and distributed nearly $260,000 in cash and toys to residents of the county. A new coalition was officially formed this week, and it's designed to improve and strengthen Michigan's economy. Here's Tony Ortiz with this report.
The Winning Michigan Jobs Coalition was created by a number of the state's top business leaders with the goal of changing Michigan's approach. Among those who are a part of this group is Maureen Krause. She's the CEO of the Detroit Regional Partnership, and she says that this new coalition is something that will keep the state competitive for the new jobs that are currently being created.
We're much more powerful when we're working together for the same goal. So that was really what started this, was, similar paths. And if we work together, we'll have a stronger voice as well as a more representative voice of the whole region and the whole state.
119 mid-Michigan healthcare providers will receive more than $22 million to support rural healthcare workers and health facilities on the front lines of the pandemic. The federal grants are a result of the American Rescue Plan, which allocated $8.5 billion in relief funds to rural hospitals and other rural healthcare providers. The grants are designed to help healthcare providers who serve those areas, including providers who care for rural Medicaid, children's health insurance patients. Congressman Dan Kildee, a supporter of the grants, says he's committed to ensuring rural hospitals, doctors, nurses, and healthcare professionals have the resources they need to provide high-quality care. WSGW News Time 1010. I'm Mike Percha.
Here's your WSGW weatherology forecast. We'll see mostly cloudy skies here for today, with temperatures steady early, then slowly falling throughout the day. Breezy winds out of the southwest around 10 to 20 miles per hour, gusting as high as 35. And then for tonight, mostly cloudy sky conditions, a low near 29. Friday, mostly cloudy, high 39 degrees. Then by Saturday, mostly sunny skies with a high around 37. Sunday, a chance for snow early, then mixing with rain late, then becoming all rain even later. Cloudy, high around 44 degrees. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki with the WSGW weatherology for it's 44.
Now, the only local radio talk show offering you the chance to ask your questions and express your opinions. From around your block to around the world, The Art Lewis Show is on 100.5 and 790 WSGW and online, WSGW.com.
And a good morning to you. Welcome. Welcome back to Hour 2 of the Art Lewis Show from my Second on Spirit home studio, brought to you by Linda Shepard at Pinnacle Realty. For all of your residential, commercial real estate needs, give Linda a call at 989-295-7713 or stop into the Point at M46 and M47 and visit Cafe 476 for the delicious soups and beverages and all that good stuff inside the same place Pinnacle Realty is located. Linda Shepard, again, it is 989-295-7713. And for this hour, we are going to talk about one of the leading agencies that deals with young folks in our region. Not always positive situations, but they make the best out of it, to say the least. And we are talking about the CAN Council. And with us this morning is its executive director. And we say good morning, and I got to check something else out here. Just a minute, Emily. Emily Yeager is with us this morning. Emily, good morning.
Good morning, Art. Good to see you again.
And good to see you too. Tell us, I think we need to start, because the CAN Council has evolved from the many, many years ago in the 80s when I was on the board. It's a whole different animal today, although mission-wise, it's still focused. Tell us about the mission of the CAN Council and what territory you cover.
Absolutely, Art. So we serve the children in Aranac, Bay, Huron, and Saginaw counties, and we work within this area to build communities that are free of child abuse and neglect. We do this through prevention efforts, educating our children about their private body safety and what to do if somebody violates that safety, how to ask for help, and how to keep asking if they don't get help right away. We also work with parents to help them cope through their parenting journey in such a way that it's healthy for the family and doesn't cause any harm to the children. And certainly we work to avoid separation of children from their family unit. In circumstances when we have to intervene in child abuse cases, we conduct those forensic interviews for kiddos who have been abused or neglected, whether it's sexually or physically. And we also do the medical examinations for forensic evidence collection. And lastly,
you do the medical too. I didn't realize that.
We're the provider in Saginaw County for those forensic medical examinations for youth, adolescents, right here at our Saginaw facility.
Wow. And what else? You started to say there's something else you do too.
Sure. Our newest program is our Court-Appointed Special Advocate program. And really that we're celebrating our 20th year here in Saginaw, but that's the newest that we've brought on board. We launched it in Bay in 2013, and we're working towards developing that CASA program in Huron County yet for 2022. But that program trains volunteers to serve for a child or a sibling group that is in the court system due to abuse or neglect. And that volunteer is specially trained. They're with that kiddo from day one in the court system until that child has a safe and permanent home established, whether it's going back to their biological parents or ending up in a guardian situation or in an adoptive home. Those volunteers could be on that case for 1, 2, 3 years. It's a significant commitment, Art, but these volunteers are so necessary to be the eyes and ears of the court in the homes of the children every 7 to 10 days. They're doing great work. We could always use more of them.
I have to ask this question, obviously, if you're a CASA person. Are all these homes welcoming, or do they not have a choice? Is this all court ordered?
Absolutely. It is court appointed. So you raise a good point. It's not necessarily a situation you're walking into where you're invited, perhaps. However, folks in the court system are accustomed to having service providers in their lives. And if they're in pursuit of getting their kiddos back, most folks are agreeable to having those service providers in their lives, knowing that the ultimate outcome is to secure permanency, safety for the children.
So let's talk about the CAN Council and its funding. How is it funded?
We receive some of our funding through State Victims of Crime Act, Crime Victim Compensation. That funds our Children's Advocacy Center, which is the entity that does the forensic interviews and the medical examinations for kiddos who have been abused. The rest of our funding largely comes from foundations, corporations, and individual gifts. And we really, really rely on those to make ends meet throughout each year.
And, you know, you've expanded over the years into multiple counties now. How many folks does it take to run the CAN Council now?
We're a staff of 25 serving 4 counties, which is pretty incredible. That's the power of regionalization. And I'll tell you, Art, because it's been a while since you've served on our board and we were a little smaller in those days.
A lot.
The beauty of this regionalization is that in the pandemic, we saw it. It was pronounced. If one of our facilities had to close because of a COVID exposure, we could still serve our kiddos from our other entities. So no child had to wait longer than was necessary for their forensic interviews or their medical examinations. And we have staff that we could float between entities, between the counties. So even if one staff member had to be isolated because of the pandemic, we had other staff ready, willing, and quite happy to serve the kiddos that needed them.
Yet at the same time that the staff was impacted, I have to believe your caseload was impacted by COVID.
It was, and in an interesting way, Art. At the beginning of all of this, I mean, nearly 2 years ago now at this point, it was recognized that nationwide there was a decrease in reporting of suspected abuse. That was nothing to be happy about. Folks in our profession knew that that was the surge we were concerned about, right? Pandemic, important, challenging, no doubt. But there are kiddos that were essentially locked in the homes with their abusers, not being seen by mandated reporters. So daycare professionals, teachers, school social workers, pediatricians for well visits. And those are the folks who are mandated by their profession to report suspected abuse or neglect so that an investigation can be started to understand what's going on in the child's home and to get the child some help if necessary. So unfortunately, while reporting was down, we knew what kids were living with at home. Once kiddos got to our centers for those interviews, we were seeing, severe physical abuse. We were seeing unavoidable sexual abuse that needed to be alleviated for the children, sometimes a matter of infection that had to be treated. Really traumatic things that our kids have had to experience.
As the pandemic waned, and we're still in it. I mean, there's a new variant comes along every month, but we're still in the pandemic, but not to the degree we were. Was there then a surge of reported incidents?
It's interesting. Every county's kind of had their own response to when kids would go back to school. Even within a county, we have schools that, vary depending on virtual or in-school processes. As soon as kids would largely go back to school, we'd see an uptick in reporting. And then when they would go back to virtual, we'd see another decline. It's not fun to see. It's not healthy for our children. Yet we know that there are just such insurmountable challenges we're facing. The best we can do, Art, is really rally around these kids when they get to us and work really hard to prevent it, largely by being there for our parents who acknowledge they need help, support, and we work with them through that parenting journey to keep their kids safe.
I last hour was interviewing a friend of mine, Danny Vann, who came through the foster care system and came from an abusive house and all of those things. And we were talking about the mental side of it. Are you finding substantial mental impact on these youngsters?
I'll say yes, and that we always have. We can stop today's trauma. We can intervene. We can maybe prevent abuse from further impacting the child. But the trauma is lifelong, and we know that. So not only do we need to help treat a child who has been abused, but then we need to look at what are we doing to make it worse? Does a child need to be removed from the home? Are there safety plans that could be put into place for kids to remain in the home and be there safely? Because that's just more trauma for the child to experience if they're removed. And we work with the professionals who make those decisions on a day-to-day basis. We work collaboratively with them. We support them in their efforts. And then we make the referrals. There are experts in all of our communities. If we know a child is in need of that type of help, whether it's today, Art, or if it's someone who experienced it years ago and they're wondering now, how can I get therapy? They just need to call us and we'll refer them to the right source.
And most people, when they hear you talk about a child, they might think of 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old. Do you also deal with 15, 16-year-olds? I mean, what's the age limit of the CAN Council?
We see children who have been abused. We see adults that might have cognitive impairments or are just best suited to come to us for those forensic interviews as opposed to being interviewed, by law enforcement or other folks who might intervene in cases of someone who's adult by age, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Adult by age, juvenile in mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then we're here. I mean, we have expert forensic interviewers, Art, who are trained to interact with all sorts of individuals who could come through our doors, whether it's the nonverbal individual who might be suffering with autism, but yet still has a disclosure that has to be made to get out of a harmful situation. We have that interviewer who's expert in that and can understand what's happened, much like we have the folks who can interview, say, a 24-year-old with some cognitive impairments and get law enforcement what they need to help that individual.
Yeah. All right. Hang on, Emily. I got to take a break. We're talking to Emily Yeager. She is the CEO of the CAN Council of this region, and we will have more with her when we return here on WSGW.
In a world that's a little simpler comes the tale of Veltima fungicide. Swift, simple, and secure. It's a corn-growing story without all the drama. Unless you add totally epic music, really random sound effects, and a cool announcer guy. Get ready for the blockbuster yields of the summer with Veltima fungicide from BASF. Coming soon. Always read and follow label directions.
Why do I plant NK seeds? Because every seed's an investment, and I don't gamble on my farm. Out here, every seed's got to earn its acre. That's why I need corn and soybeans that deliver the results I expect. And it's why I always make room for elite performers from NK, because every investment owes me a return, and success matters. Find your local NK retailer at nkseeds.com/retailer.
As a farmer, you've got to be ready for anything, and 2022 is no exception. That's why Enlist E3 soybeans for stacked in your favor on exclusive genetics, so you can be ready with the herbicide flexibility you need on our own field-proven genetics with the agronomic traits for your environment. Contact your local NK retailer to lock in your seed, or visit nkseeds.com/Enlist E3. Enlist E3 soybean technology is jointly developed with Dow AgroSciences LLC and MS Technologies LLC. Enlist E3 is a trademark of Dow AgroSciences LLC.
Attorney Joe Cordell.
New school, new job, new home. Change is hard and can leave you feeling isolated. And divorce delivers one of life's hardest blows. The relationships you counted on are suddenly gone. But you don't have to walk through this alone. For more than 30 years, Cordell and through the challenges of divorce. You're not alone. Call Cordell & Cordell.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Detroit area attorneys. Offices in Troy and Ann Arbor. CordellCordell.com.
I'm Lauren Simonetti, and this is the Fox Business Report.
More out-of-work Americans than expected filed first-time jobless claims last week than the week before, which was a 52-year low. But the latest filings, 222,000 of them, come in at roughly the level they were before the pandemic hit. The prior week's milestone numbers were in fact revised to 194,000 from the 199,000 first reported. Continuing claims from those still receiving help fell by 107,000 to below 2 million for the first time since the early days of the pandemic. And GlaxoSmithKline says a COVID-19 antibody treatment it and Vir Biotechnology have developed has been highly effective against the Omicron variant in early lab studies. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Lillian Wu, invested in you.
Puerto Rico is the new go-to destination for investment. Impeller is the new online tool that connects investors with innovative projects seeking capital on the island. Impeller takes the guesswork out of investing in Puerto Rico, surfacing the insights you need to make informed decisions and empower your investment portfolio. Visit investpr.org/impeller and set up your account today to see what the island has to offer. Impeller, your hub for investment opportunities in Puerto Rico. Powered by Invest Puerto Rico.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's ACY.
On the next Markley Van Camp and Robbins show, I guess we'll try to make sense of it all. That is a very, very difficult job. We will have fun.
Markley, Van Camp, and Robbins. Weekdays at noon on 100.5 and 790. News Radio WSGW.
And we're back with you on the Art Lewis Show here on WSGW. Talking to Emily Yeager from the Can Council. And what's the official title of the Can Council now? Because you covered so much territory.
Yes, actually, we are now simply the Can Council. We've eliminated any reference to counties from our name as we're willing to serve wherever we're needed.
So Can Council is it then?
Can Council currently serves Aranac, Bay, Huron, and Saginaw counties. But if there was ever an entity in need close by, we would certainly work to take care of our children.
Are there other Can Councils in the state?
There are many actually. Some are served by, an actual facility like what I sit in. Some are mobile units, which travel over multiple counties. Like I'm thinking of one up in our northern counties. So there are most counties that have something akin to what we have here in the Saginaw area. We do prevention, intervention, and advocacy. It depends on with the resources within every other county, what they offer.
Yeah, it is pretty amazing because I think back to the late 80s when I was involved, and basically all we did was education. It was all about prevention, and you talked about it.
And that was so important. It still is because
it is. And I was going to ask, that's still part of it, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Child abuse can be a very taboo subject. It was more so in the 80s, like you're describing. Our child protection law was just passed prior to that. So we needed to be talking about it, and we needed kids to know in particular, if this is happening to you, it's not okay. And there are people who will listen, believe, and help you. That was important then. It was important now as well to advocate for the community to understand what abuse is, what it looks like, how to intervene, and how to get a kiddo help. A big topic that we focus on in our community presentations is grooming. Sexual abuse is most likely to occur at the hands of somebody known to the child, and very likely someone that the child's been raised to like, love, trust. So how do we as adults in the lives of children understand when grooming is happening, end it, and keep our children safe? It's not common sense, quote unquote. It takes understanding of the topic, and it takes just a willingness to go there to talk about this taboo subject. So we offer that 2-hour presentation called Stewards of Children to civic groups, workplaces. It's really, really powerful information.
It's it's interesting because I think back to the day, and if child abuse came to the forefront and the police were notified, it was up to them to go. They had to be social worker, child interventionist, enforcer. I mean, they were asked to do it all.
Mm-hmm.
We've gone a little beyond that now, haven't we? Hopefully.
Absolutely. I think that there's more of a collaborative approach to these investigations, and there's much more understanding about best practice in responding to a child who comes to any of those individuals that you suggested, the school social worker, principal, the lunch lady. How do those individuals then immediately respond to that child? Because that immediate response is important to help the child understand, I hear what you're saying and I'm going to get you help. And then to help them. If you're a mandated reporter, there's a process that you need to follow, and you need to personally make that report about the suspected child abuse. If you're not a mandated reporter, you can still report it. There are some cases, Art, that come into our building, and I can't help but think this has happened over years, and there wasn't a neighbor who wondered what's going on in that home. There wasn't a post office mail carrier that wondered what is going on in that home. You can report suspected abuse and neglect to professionals by calling Children's Protective Services. You can make that report anonymously. Give the professionals the opportunity to understand what's happening and help the kid. You don't need to feel like you need all the facts. If you wonder something's going on, make the call. And you can find that number. It's a lengthy one. Go to cancouncil.org. It's right there on our homepage. When in doubt, call 911.
All right. So let me ask this question then. So let's say, let's pick the lunch lady. You mentioned the lunch lady. Let's say she suspects or he suspects something is amiss with this child, either visibly, there's bruises or what have you, or emotionally. What do they do, and what is the process once that wheel starts to turn? What happens?
So every school system has the opportunity to bring in training for mandated reporters. We provide that training at the Can Council. In many counties, DHHS also is the provider for it. Whoever the entity is, book those presentations for your mandated reporters in your school setting. I encourage that for principals, superintendents every year, because you get new people in that you hire every year. Right now, there's a large amount of turnover in schools. Make sure your professionals know what to do.
Let me interrupt just for a second so we understand a term. You're talking about mandated reporters. Is everyone who works in a school building, by virtue of where they work, a mandated reporter?
So the listing of mandated reporter professionals can be found on a state website. Most schools will ensure that every professional in that building, whether it's a parapro, a lunch lady, administrative professionals, understand to make that report. And then they need to make it. They need to make that report, and it's not done by sending an email to the school principal. It's not done by letting the secretary know what's happened. It's done by making the report to Children's Protective Services. And then you have to follow up with a form that you can file now online or submit it the old-fashioned way. But only by making that report can investigators look into the situation and understand what's going on.
So a mandated reporter in a school system, we'll go back to our lunch lady again, bypasses the chain of command in the school and goes directly to that reporting. Is that correct?
Yes, you make the report. Certainly you let your chain of command, like what you're describing, know what's going on. But yes, if you suspect it, you report it.
Directly. All right, we'll talk more about it. We are talking to Emily Yeager from the Can Council, and we will have more ahead here on the Art Lewis Show on WSGW. We'll be back after these notes.
I'm attorney Jerry Reif, and I have practiced elder law, estate planning, asset and business protection planning in Michigan for over 3 decades. As a veteran, I've also helped veterans and their spouses benefit from special VA programs. Many of you have attended my monthly workshops where you have learned the rules, what solutions work, and had your questions answered, such as, can I protect my stuff from the government and long-term care costs? What is the difference between revocable and irrevocable trusts? How can I avoid probate? And do I need to? Should I give my stuff to the kids or others? Know the rules and what solutions to your questions.
If your planning is more than 5 years old, you may have missed some great opportunities. Call 989-790-1461 to attend Attorney Jerry Rice's free workshop, How to Protect Your Stuff in 3 Easy Steps. This workshop is on Tuesday, December 7th at 2 o'clock in Saginaw at the Capocco Community Credit Union. Call 989-790-1461 today or register online at jerryrifelawyer.com.
We're proud to make Pioneer Sugar for you and your family. Proud to be found in your kitchen, the heart of your home. Doesn't really matter what you make with Pioneer Sugar, whether it's with our granulated white, light brown, or soft confectioners. It's the memories you'll make using it that will matter the most. Pioneer Sugar, pure and all natural, made from sugar beets grown right here. What could be sweeter than that?
Finding the right Medicare plan may feel impossible, but now it's anything but. With Walgreens Find RX coverage tool, you can compare plans online, over the phone, or in person, making Medicare easier than ever. Easier than crime doc to watch, figuring out that Wi-Fi password, or putting the duvet cover back on. So if you can do those things, with Find RX coverage, you can definitely Medicare. Find the plan that's right for you by visiting walgreens.com/Medicare.
Research shows that people remember radio ads with repetition. So to help you remember that Liberty Mutual Insurance Company customizes your home insurance, only pay for what you need. Here's a repetitive ad. Okay. Research shows that people remember radio ads with repetition. So to help you remember that Liberty Mutual Insurance Company customizes your home insurance so you only pay for what you need, here's a repetitive ad. Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
This is CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger. Do you want to be a hero for the holidays? How about getting your loved one a new iPhone? That's right. Pure Talk has iPhone 12 starting at just $479 through the end of the year. And sure, they have 13s too. Switch to Pure Talk. Great nationwide coverage. Yes, the same coverage as the big guys, but the average family saves over $800 a year. Now that's just smart. There's no need to overpay for Verizon, AT&T, or T-Mobile. Plus, with Pure Talk's 30-day risk-free guarantee, you've got nothing to lose. Unlimited talk, text, and 6 gigs of data is just $30 a month. And like I said, the iPhone just $479. From your cell phone, dial pound 250 and say Jill 50, and you'll save an additional 50% off your first month. Plus, save on a new phone. That's pound 250, say Jill 50. Pure Talk is simply smarter wireless. Some restrictions on. Wait for details.
Direct from the Stone Specialist Studios, this is 100.5 and 790 News Radio WSGW.
And we're back with Emily Yeager talking about the Kent Council. So, Emily, let's continue this conversation with the sequencing of events once a report is made. The lunch lady, we go back to her. She calls the hotline, files her report. Does the nature of the report dictate who gets involved first, or is there a standard sequence?
So the call will go into, no matter where it is in the state, into centralized intake. I mentioned that, Art, just because if you don't know necessarily where the county that the kiddo resides in, right now it's handled, it's moved to a statewide system. So you don't necessarily need to know the address that the kiddo is in and perhaps in trouble within. So you report it through this 855 number, and then they deal with it from there. There's an X amount of hours that they're given to investigate that case. And then when you are done making the call, which, I'll tell you, it's a little bit lengthy. It's 15 minutes. I mean, it's not going to be a quick call. They want information. Then you follow up by filing what's called a 3200 form with the state. And they take it from there. And then, like you had mentioned, chain of command. Certainly you need to tell folks within your school, follow your processes to let them know what's happened. We've had professionals tell us before, I wasn't comfortable making that first call myself because it can feel scary to make that report to Children's Protective Services because you wonder, now what? And will there be retaliation? So we've had folks tell us that they've went to their supervisor and they've made the call together. But that person who suspects it, who's seen it, like you mentioned, bruises, or maybe you get a disclosure, a kid who says what's happening, you need to be the one with that firsthand, what you've heard or seen to make that report.
So when do you get involved? If the state is the overriding controlling agency here, how does it come to you? At what point does the CAN Council get involved?
So Children's Protective Services either comes to us or law enforcement. So depending on how the child comes into contact with the system, then Children's Protective Services or law enforcement or both will reach out to us to coordinate the forensic interview of the child. It used to be done years ago by multiple professionals. And even if you just look at the two of us sitting here in this Zoom room, what a child's going to tell you might be very different than what they might tell me. And it's not because they would be lying. It's because there's a different comfort level, a different rapport, maybe a different trust factor. Maybe one of us looks like the abuser and we're going to have a child clam up in our presence. So that was causing defense attorneys to pick holes, find holes in the child's statements. And it was getting perpetrators the opportunity to get off. They weren't being held accountable and they were back in homes abusing more children. So this system of what's called a Children's Advocacy Center that's within our CAN Council brings all those professionals around a table so that they can witness one interview of a child one time with one person in that interview room conducting that interview.
So this is where the forensic interviewer is in a room, and outside that room, looking through two-way glass or what have you, are the rest of those concerned about the case.
Absolutely. And by the time kids get to us, we understand that a child may have been lied to, manipulated. So we believe in truth here in our facilities. Kids are not surprised. They're not lied to about who's watching the interview. They can meet them. They can see the team of professionals around the table. But they know that these are the people who need to hear what you have to say. So we're going to go in this other room and we're going to talk. And there's a camera that will watch the interview. There's a microphone that will pick up what you're saying. So hopefully by the end of today, we have all the information that we need to move forward and keep you safe.
Let's talk for a minute about these trained professionals. What does it take to be a forensic interviewer?
I'll start with a heart of gold and a lot of resilience and bravery. We have all different backgrounds in our interviewers, largely, something akin to maybe social work, criminal justice, family and children's studies, some type of background like that. And then it's a significant training that's conducted in Huntsville, Alabama, for our interviewers to understand the process in interviewing children. There's additional training that they go to every year through our Michigan prosecuting attorneys to, again, learn more new best practices that are developed. It's constant training. I mentioned earlier, one of our interviewers had the opportunity to learn how to interview nonverbal children. What a niche that is, but necessary. So it's constant training for these folks. Through National Children's Alliance, which is our accrediting body, the court administrator's office. We look for all opportunities to keep them so well trained that when they get in the room, it's just a matter of having a conversation with the child to keep them safe. But I'll tell you, they deal with a lot of trauma on the job, and my heart is with them.
They're paid professionals, though, is that right?
They are, yes.
Volunteers. So what are the roles for volunteers at the CAN Council? If somebody calls up and says, I want to volunteer, what do you have available? What do you tell them?
We have lots of choices. I'm going to really focus on one that we're in real need of, and that's our court-appointed special advocate, or our CASA. These are specially trained volunteers. They can come from every walk of life. They can be radio broadcasters. They might be retired teachers or stay-at-home moms. Doesn't matter what your background is. We will put you through the 40-hour training and give you enough courtroom observation so you are ready to take on one case at a time. It'll be a case of a child or a sibling group, and you will meet with the kiddos every 7 to 10 days. Just get to know them, build rapport. And then every 90 days, you're at the court hearings for those parents to make recommendations on what's in the best interest of the children. And it can be everything from medical needs. For example, when they were taken from their home, their glasses were left behind. This child needs access to vision insurance. They can be advocating for something like that. It can be advocating for a timely IEP with the school system to make sure that they're getting the education they need. And ultimately, it does come down to as well, making sure the court understands what we're seeing as that child's advocate, what's in their best interest long term. Is it going back to one of their parents? Is it a guardianship? Or is it an adoptive placement?
And do the courts recognize this CASA individual as a legal advocate for that child?
Yes, we are court appointed. Children still do have their attorneys. And so really our CASAs work hand in hand with the attorneys, complementing what the attorney does for the child. Caseloads of paid professionals in the system are enormous. So what our CASA can do, having just one case that they serve, and seeing the kids every 7 to 10 days, which is more than most other professionals that will ever be in that child's life during the duration of that court case. We can just add to the eyes and the ears of the court and what they're able to know about what's going on in that child's situation.
All right, hang on, Emily. We'll be back to finish up with Emily Yeager from the Kent Council after these notes on the Art Lewis Show here on WSGW.
Thank you.
This is Rachel from the SVRC Marketplace, located at 203 South Washington, right on Riverfront, Saginaw. We wish you a happy holiday season and to come support small business. Our global flavors like Creole Queen's Gumbo and shawarmas from Falafel Hut are always a favorite. Grab a cookies or mini donut delight factory and shop the beautiful stones from House of Serene, handmade designer cups from Chris Made It, or the hottest trends from Asia's Wigs and Apparel. Happy holiday season from the SVRC Marketplace, open Wednesday through Saturday 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Mark those calendars for our magical day at the market on December 18th. Santa arrives at 1 p.m. along with free cookie decorating, live entertainment, face painting, and princesses galore. We thank you for the continued support of our small businesses. Remember to shop local, eat local, support small business, and we will see you at the market.
Your Saginaw Spirit back in action this Thursday at the Dow for the next installment in the battle for the I-75 Divide Cup. The Saginaw Spirit taking on the Flint Firebirds, 7:05 for puck drop. Great seats are available at the Dow. You can also get tickets by calling 989-497-7747. You can also go online at SaginawSpirit.com or pop into the Saginaw Spirit store on State Street in Saginaw. Your Spirit battling the Flint Firebirds this Thursday night.
Whether you're vaccinated or not, it's important to know the symptoms of COVID and its variants. Fever is the leading sign of COVID and the flu, so make sure thermometer. Only the Exergen temporal scanner thermometer has been proven more than 100 clinical studies. Non-contact thermometers have no clinical evidence behind them, and you cannot rely on them. Be vigilant and seek medical advice at the first sign of fever. Learn more at Exergen.com.
Right now, I'm getting bombarded with TV ads, postcards, and emails about Medicare Advantage programs, saying what I may be eligible for and what might be available. Sure, everyone wants better coverage, but don't tell me everything there is to know. Tell me what I need to know. EasyMedicare.com does through the confusion and give me simple, easy answers. Which plans let me keep my doctor, cover my prescriptions, and are accepted at my pharmacy? No guesswork, just answers.
Go to EasyMedicare.com. That's the letter E, the letter Z, Medicare.com. Or call 1-888-486-1662 to talk to a licensed insurance agent. But do it now. You've only got through December 7th. EasyMedicare.com. We make choosing a Medicare plan easy. 1-888-486-1662.
EasyMedicare.com is owned and operated by eTeleCode Insurance Inc. and duly licensed insurance agents. Neither eTeleCode Insurance Inc. nor EasyMedicare.com is connected with or endorsed by the U.S. government and federal Medicare program. In California, Florida, and New Mexico, we operate as eTeleCode Insurance Inc.
Aiden Hutchinson drops stout at the 39-yard line.
The Michigan Wolverines face the Iowa Hawkeyes in the Big Ten Championship live Saturday night at 7 on 790 News Radio WSGW.
And we're back with you for one final segment with Emily Yeager, the CEO of the Can Council here in Saginaw, covering several counties. So let's talk about that person that wants to volunteer, Emily. They come to you. I'm assuming, I know that's a terrible word, but I'm assuming there's a pretty good background check that has to happen.
Absolutely.
So what happens when somebody comes and says, all right, I want to be a CASA officer, for example? What's the procedure then? What do they do?
So give us a call. You need to be 21 or older. Be ready to pass a background check. And then we'll get you into one of the next 3 trainings. We have 3 each year. And we currently serve Saginaw Bay. Again, we are in the process of starting a program in Huron County. So we'll offer 3 trainings. We'll get you into the next one, which is in February, Art. So in just a couple months. So that gives us time to do the background screening, to interview the candidate, and provide them with all the forms necessary for the first day of training.
And then they become sworn court officers, in effect?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And how long typically are they attached to a case?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
We were just discussing this. We have some teenagers who have been with us for a long time, and their CASAs have been in 2 of these cases that we were just reviewing. The CASAs have been the only person still on the case that's there for the child. So as a foster worker may have left, a foster care worker, an attorney might have changed, as an adoptive placement fell through, this CASA has been there. In one situation, over 1,000 days. It's not a brief commitment typically. Typically, there's a lot involved in the case, and there's a lot that the parents have to work through for the system, the foster care, Children's Protective Services, the court system, to ascertain whether or not it's safe for the child to remain in the care of a parent or parents.
That's not a decision the CASA makes, though, right? The CASA tells the court makes that decision.
Absolutely, yes. We make recommendations, as does, depending on the workers in the case. There might be a therapist who makes the recommendation, Children's Protective Services, foster care workers, attorneys. Absolutely, we are a piece of that puzzle, and ultimately, it's at the judge's discretion.
So when a child ends up in the system and ends up at the Can Council, is it a team effort? Does the team sit down and discuss what this child needs?
Yes. So in a case where a child's been abused and we conduct those forensic interviews afterwards, whether it's a child or a sibling group, whatever the case may be, after the interviews that need to be done are conducted, while the non-offending caregiver is with the child or the children in the waiting room, that team of law enforcement, Children's Protective Services, the prosecutor, along with our professionals, we talk about what those next steps will be. What is law enforcement going to do? Will there be a removal by Children's Protective Services, or is it a situation where perhaps a safety plan can be put in place? If it's a perpetrator, say outside of the home, is the family unit able to put a safety plan into place to keep the child from the individual while law enforcement, say, does some more investigating?
Yeah. All right, let me ask you this question. It's going to call for your opinion.
Okay.
We often hear about the foster care system and kids that fall through the cracks. Is the foster care system as we know it broken, or does it function well?
Art, not avoiding the question, but I'll answer you the best I can. It's like any industry. We have super duper people that work for us, and occasionally there's someone that just isn't cut out to be one of us, right? There are times we do really well, and there are times we have to learn from a mistake. I will say the foster care system is a system we have to work with, right? If we can prevent kids from going into the foster care system, that's ideal.
Yep.
And whatever that is, whether that's bringing more of our prevention efforts in other arenas like substance abuse prevention to families, domestic violence prevention, whatever we can do to prevent a kiddo from entering the foster care system to begin with is ideal. But sometimes it's necessary. And I'll tell you, there's a nationwide shortage of foster homes. So I implore folks to consider it, whether it's not right for you today or not. Consider it down the road when it might be the right time for you, because our kids need that. Otherwise, is there a chance that they're going to end up in a foster home that could hurt them? Unfortunately, the answer is yes.
But nothing's perfect. Nothing's perfect. All right, let me let's finish up with this. Anything ahead for the Can Council we should know about in the way of fundraising or events or anything of that nature?
For sure. This Saturday is our hometown hero hockey night with the Saginaw Spirit.
Yay! I'll be
Go
there.
Spirit. December 4th, 7:05 is the puck drop. There's good fun in the Red Room before the event for our kiddos. Free cape giveaways and some Bam Bam noisemakers. I'm told the kids love. I don't know about the adults in the arena, but there will be other hometown heroes in their uniforms, police officers, firefighters. We're excited to bring those types of heroes to this year's event instead of our former Caped Crusader type of event. And on ice, this year, we will be honoring our own hometown heroes right within our ranks, our Can Council staff that didn't miss a single day for our kids during the pandemic.
And if somebody tells you you're going to do a TV interview in the second intermission, you're looking at them. See you there. Emily, I want to thank you for your time this morning. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for this opportunity, always.
You're welcome. We'll do it again. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye now. Emily Yeager, she is the CEO of the Can Council here in Saginaw. And this Saturday at the Spirit Game, come on out and show your support. And we'll be back to close out after these notes.
Give yourself a bright future for 2022 and beyond by choosing a top-rated Medicare Advantage plan. Blue Cross PPO received a 4.5 out of 5-star rating, and Blue Care Network HMO received 5 stars, Medicare's highest star rating. Every year, Medicare evaluates plans based on a 5-star rating system. Star ratings are calculated each year and may change from one year to the next. Medicare Plus Blue and PCN Advantage are PPO, HMO POS, and HMO plans with Medicare contracts. Enrollment in Medicare Plus Blue and PCN Advantage depends on contract renewal.
What's all the buzz about nasal irrigation and navage? Here's the science. Airborne germs invade through your nose. When your nose gets clogged, it's less effective and germs multiply. Eventually, your immune system can get overwhelmed and you get sick. Navage pulls out the bad stuff so you can breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and feel healthier. At Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Target, Bed Bath, and Walmart. Or go to Navage.com for a free gift with NAVAGE.
RocketGrabPlus.com. This week on RocketGrabPlus.com, we have an extended Black Friday deal for 120 Fitness in Saginaw. You are going to get your monthly membership to 120 Fitness for only $16. It's usually $32, but you are getting yours half off. 120 Fitness offers 2 floors of top-of-the-line cardio equipment, a variety of strength training equipment, and fitness classes like yoga and Zumba. If you want to get in shape in a clean and comfortable environment, head to RocketGrabPlus.com right now to snag your deal.
RocketGrabPlus.com. I'm Dr. Andrea Russo, a cardiologist. Maybe you're waiting to talk to your doctor right now. But if you're having an irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness, don't wait. This could be a serious condition like atrial fibrillation, which can make you about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. If you're having these symptoms, don't wait. Talk to a doctor by phone, online, or in person.
The Bristol Myers Squibb and Pfizer. The WSGW Morning Team Show.
The annual measurement, as it's called, from PNC, its Christmas Price Index, was released, where it outlines the total cost of all the items individually and then collectively from the 12 Days of Christmas song for 2021, that it would cost $41,206 to obtain the requisite items from each of the 12 verses, an increase from last year.
That's beyond my budget. 41 grand.
I need my milk. 8 maids of milking, $58. It's the cheapest price on the whole list. $58 for 8 maids.
That's a buy.
Someone's got to lobby for him.
See, Charlie, that's why I enjoy the Bob and Doug McKenzie 12 Days of Christmas. I like their gifts ideas, which are golden toques and French toasts and a beer and a tree.
And much more affordable.
And a lot more affordable.
For the average person.
The Morning Team, weekdays on WSGW.
All right, that'll do it for this edition of the Art Lewis Show. I want to take a moment here to talk about why you haven't heard open line shows in this whole week. Our phone system has been giving us issues, and we cannot take phone calls. We don't use a standard phone system. We use voice over internet protocol, and the equipment is giving us fits, to say the least. And I guarantee you there's some very smart people working on it, trying to get it fixed. So hopefully in the very near future, we will get back to normal and be able to take open line phone calls and talk about topics with you. But that's why we have not this week been able to take any phone calls, because the system is not functioning. And that includes the business side. So either way, we can't call into the radio station. With that said, we will pause. When we come back on Focus, we're going to talk to Bridget Staffolino from Jolt about an event coming up all next week. Stick around for that.
From the Stone Specialist Studios, this is WSGW, Saginaw, Bay City, Midland, WSGW-FM, Carlton.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Facet Wealth.
I'm Steve Kathan. A second case of the Omicron variant in the U.S. reported in Minnesota this morning. Infectious disease expert Dr. Celine Gounder says it'll be important to gauge the potency of the variant.
We are seeing people who had prior infection in South Africa being now reinfected with Omicron, and the vaccines may be a little bit less protective as in San Francisco against the Omicron variant.
With the variant in mind, President Biden's winter pandemic plan includes coverage for home COVID tests, a push for vaccinations and boosters, and White House coronavirus coordinator Jeff Zients on travel.
Expanding the masking requirement for all domestic and international travelers through March. So there's an extension of the mask requirement on travel.
The U.S. has struck a deal with Mexico to reinstate the policy that forces asylum seekers to wait there for hearings in U.S. courts. CBS's Steve Dorsey in Washington has the latest on a measure designed to stave off a government shutdown.
Following debate, the House is expected to vote on the bill later today. The stopgap funding measure keeps government open through February 18th. However, it still needs Senate approval, where, in protest of the Biden administration's COVID-19 vaccine mandates, some conservative lawmakers are threatening to delay action.
A white sheriff's deputy in Columbus, Ohio, has been charged with murder. Last year, Casey Goodson was shot 5 times. Police have not fully explained how the two crossed paths. Troubling finding now at a naval facility in Hawaii. CBS's Jim Crisula.
A lab has detected an unknown petroleum product in water samples collected from the Pearl Harbor Hickam Naval Base. It was also found in the tap water of a nearby elementary school. Those who live on the base, including Christy Crawford, met with base leaders.
There's been so much misinformation, no information, nothing given to the residents here.
The 93,000 customers of the Navy water system have been advised not to use their tap water.
After a flurry of free agent moves, the action stops now in the baseball offseason. Owners locked out players in a labor disputes. Commissioner Rob Manfred.
It's the norm in professional sports, and we feel it's the best strategy to protect the 2022 season for the benefit of our fans.
The government says claims for unemployment week from a pandemic low. Bank rates Mark Hamrick.
At this stage of the economic recovery, we're seeing few wholesale job cuts. Challenger Gray and Christmas, for example, says November job cut announcements were the lowest since 1993.
And on Wall Street, the Dow is up 450 points. This is CBS News.
Facet Wealth, personalized and affordable financial planning for everyday Americans. No wealth or asset minimums. Quality financial advice for every stage of your life.
Start your painting project and save big at Menards. Dutch Boy has the paints you need to get the job done right. DuraClean Interior Paint and Primer in One features a Stay Clean formula that not only goes on easily, but it stays beautiful longer. Available in the award-winning Twist and Pour container. Save on Dutch Boy products, including DuraClean Interior Paint at Menards. Plus, a Menards gift card is always a great gift idea.
If you're Medicare eligible, now's the time to review your coverage to get all you can from your plan. With Covenant Advantage, a PHP Medicare plan, you get hospital, medical, and prescription drug coverage you need and valuable extras you want. With dental benefits from Delta Dental, vision, hearing, and so much more without paying more. Covenant Advantage consultants are leading seminars in the area and are available for personal consultations. Don't delay. Learn more at covenantadvantage.com.
While you're comfortable inside your home or business,
The weather takes a toll on your roof. Wind, rain, hail, UV rays, and the heat of the sun cause premature failure of your shingles. Everyone loves to save money. If you have an aging roof, don't spend a lot of money on replacement. Get a Roof Max shingle treatment and get some peace of mind. Get more life for less money. Guaranteed with Roof Max, a powerful fusion of science and nature. Call Ben today at 859-60. Join us for some holiday fun at the Winter Party on McCarty Celebration this Saturday, December 4th. Kids' activities begin at 3. The tree lighting ceremony is at 5:30 with fireworks to follow. Don't miss out on the beer tent and 2 bands with lots of Party on McCarty fun from 6 until 10. Make sure to bring a toy for Toys for Tots. The event will be located at 3575 McCarty Road in Saginaw. This message brought to you by the Saginaw Township Soccer Association, Saginaw Township Business Association, Sarah Automotive of Saginaw, and Alpha Media.
Live from the 100.5 and 790 newsroom, this is WSGW News.
Cloudy skies and 49 degrees at 11:05. Good morning, I'm Mike Kirchup. Members of Detroit's professional sports teams are sending support to those in Oxford, Michigan, following the shootings at their high school. Here's a Lions quarterback, G.
You never think it's going to happen so close to you and so close to home, and you hear about it, and our thoughts are with them and their families, and I know myself and our teammates and our team will be looking for ways to help and support and really be that, positive light for these people right now in such a hard time.
Meanwhile, Pistons head coach Dwayne Casey called the shooting sensitive responders and offered his condolences to families. In the wake of the mass shooting at the Oxford High School, Democrats in Michigan say they'll be pushing new gun control legislation. Here's Jim Matthews with this report.
Revive stalled bills and introduce new proposals in the Republican-led legislature after the school shooting that left 4 students dead and others with serious injuries. Senator Rosemary Baer, whose district includes Oxford High School, had previously introduced legislation aimed at holding adults accountable when they don't secure firearms. The teen charged in Tuesday's slayings used a handgun his father bought. The bill would require adults to keep their firearm locked up if they know it's accessible to minors. But GOP leaders who have opposed any such measures aren't committing to any policy changes. Jim Matthews, Michigan News Network.
Saginaw Township Police have an enhanced presence at Heritage High School and White Pine Middle School today following a threat tonight. Police say they believe a post was edited to include the words Heritage and WP and originated from the Sterling Heights area. They say there is no credible threat to Saginaw Township schools. WSGW News Time 11:07.
This is Rachel from the SVRC Marketplace, located at 203 South Washington, right on Riverfront Saginaw. We wish you a happy holiday season and to come support small business. Our global flavors like and shawarmas from Falafel Hut are always a favorite. Grab a sweet treat from Craving Cookies or Mini Donut Delight.
Again?
Hear me? Beautiful
there we go. That's better.
Handmade designer
All right.
cups from Chris
Sounds a little warbly. I hope your Wi-Fi is
from
good.
Asia's Wigs and Apparel. Happy holiday season from the SVRC Marketplace.
kinda
Open Wednesday through
breaking it.
Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Let me try my phone.
Day at the market
What?
on December 18th. Santa arrives at
Can't
1
call the
p.m.
station.
along with free cookie decorating,
We have to do it
live
this way 'cause our
entertainment,
phones are
face
down.
painting, and princesses galore. We thank
frozen.
you for the continued support of our small
Reset.
businesses.
Start
Remember
all over
to
again.
shop
I'll come back
local,
to you.
eat local, support small business, and we will see you at the market.
WSGW News Time 11. Gas is coming up next. A hunter was shot in Genesee County's Vienna Township Sunday. Around 4 p.m., a 36-year-old man was hunting in a field off Herd Road when he encountered 2 cousins, 11 and 17-year-old boys. The man was hunting on property along the road belonging to a friend and had permission to be there. Police say a dispute between the man and the boys became violent when one of the boys shot him in the hip with a .30-30 rifle. DNO regulations prohibit hunting with a .30-30 south of M46. The man was taken to a local hospital and is listed in good condition. Police tracked the boys to a residence belonging to a 34-year-old Vienna Township to custody and later released due to their age. It's not known which boy shot the victim. The case will be sent to the Genesee County prosecutor for a review. Stellantis CEO Carlos Tavares has a message for regulators. Don't push them beyond their limits. Here's Autobeat reporter Jeff Gilbert.
Tavares says Stellantis can meet all regulations, but they're at their limit, and if they're pushed further, it could impact jobs, quality, and affordability. He tells today's Reuters Next conference there is a lot of cost involved.
We have to digest 50% of additional cost. There is no way we can transfer 50% of additional consumer.
Tavares says there's an ethical responsibility to respect the state of the art in vehicle development and manufacturing.
There have been more than 16,000 new cases of COVID-19 in Michigan Tuesday and Wednesday this week. There were 358 deaths Tuesday and 30 on Wednesday. There's been an average of cases per day. 65.6% of residents 12 and older have received at least one dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. When you see news happening, call the WSGW newsroom at 752-0790. It's 1110. I'm Mike Percha.
Here's your WSGW weatherology forecast. We'll see mostly cloudy skies here for today, with temperatures steady early, then slowly falling throughout the day. Breezy winds out of the southwest around 10 to 12 miles per hour, gusting as high as 35. And then for tonight, mostly cloudy skies, low near 29. Friday, mostly cloudy, high of 39 degrees. Then by Saturday, mostly sunny skies with a high around 37. Sunday, a chance for snow early, then mixing with rain late, then becoming all rain even later. Cloudy, high around 44 degrees. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki with the WSGW weatherology forecast. Currently, it's 44.
Now, it's time to focus as WSGW presents the people, the places, the businesses, the culture, the area events and activities, all put into focus on 100.5 and 790 News Radio WSGW and online WSGW.com.
And a good morning. Welcome to another edition of Focus, brought to you by Roof Max, the safe, proven, and affordable alternative to expensive asphalt shingle roof replacement. Find out about Roof Max online at roofmax.com or call Ben at 989-859-6751. That's Roof Max with 2 X's. As I broadcast from my Saginaw Spirit home studio, today we are going to talk to Bridget Stefano from Jolt Credit Union about next week, because that's an exciting week for all of us. Not only Jolt, but the entire Impact Saginaw collaboration of credit unions. Good morning, Bridget.
Hey, good morning, Art. Good to see you.
Good to see you again. This
Yes.
time by video, but we see each other anyway. So let's talk. I want to, before we get to the actual physical event, I want to talk about Impact Saginaw for a minute. What is this Impact Association?
Great question. So Credit Union Impact Saginaw, we have been an organization since 2013. And what happened was most of the Mid-Michigan chapter of credit unions, we have about 22 different credit unions that are in it. And at our annual meeting, we had Sam Shaheen come and speak about, supporting the Saginaw Arts Museum. And following his speech, and it was just very inspiring. And he said, you guys do so much, on your own, maybe you can do something together. And so Jerry Hutto, who is the CEO of Team One Credit Union, he grabbed a few CEOs together and he said, hey, what do you think about collaborating? Well, they thought it was a great idea. So they brought, their key team members in to discuss it. And that's how Impact Saginaw was created, as an opportunity to come together as Saginaw credit unions to do something in the community for the kids in Saginaw and give them an experience that they wouldn't have unless Impact Saginaw was sponsoring it. So since 2013, We have given out over 250,000 in different experiences to kids in our area, which include free days at the Saginaw Zoo, a free triathlon, trips to the Loons game, trips to the Saginaw Spirit games, theater, musicals, the symphony, and different bands, and trips to the pumpkin patch. And I mean, there's just been so much that we've been able to do. And
how many credit unions are involved in Impact?
We have 11 credit unions that are involved in that. And they, which, some of the credit unions, obviously, they have different offices in different, locations. But, it's one thing that, we come together. We're not representing Jolt, Team One, Wildfire, Wanagas, anything. It's we're coming together, as Credit Unions Impact Saginaw. So we put aside, our individual credit unions brands, and we say, no, we're here for the credit. Credit unions are doing this, and what other industry does that, right?
And we, the thing we're going to talk about next week, of course, Alpha Media is involved along with Covenant and Impact Saginaw, and it's an interesting program because the idea. It took a life of its own on. Mark Thomas, our general manager, had this idea of collecting toys for the kids in the ward in the hospital ward for the kids at Covenant. Started talking to Carol Cottrell about it, who said, well, we've got this thing, this Lights for Christmas we've been looking at. And it all fell together. And the very next word out of anybody's mouth was, let's talk to Bridget at Jolt. And here we are.
Awesome.
So you were the one that suggested, well, let's get Impact involved.
Yeah, absolutely. So what happened was Michigan Credit Union League, we have an annual convention and expo every year. We do a silent auction. They have a golf event, and I started a 5K run. Walk, to raise money for the Children's Miracle Network. Well, a few years back, 2019 or 18, we raised over 130,000, and so we went down to Beaumont to give them the, do the check presentation, and they gave us a tour. And on that tour, they talked about this moonbeams for sweet dreams and how they do the lights, and they do this all over the country, but this is the first time I'd ever heard about this, and everybody has their own name. And I mean, I had tears, because, these lights, what they want to do is they want to send these little ones who are in the hospital for the holidays, and how tough is that anyway, especially for parents, when their child is sick. So, for the holidays, they should be home, but they want to do something. So they invited the whole community, and they shine flashlights back and forth or foam tubes. And I got in my car. Right when I got in my car, I'm like trying to call Carol and said, we need to do this in Saginaw. And it just, and so, and
was everything.
And absolutely. And the thing is, and well, then COVID happened. So it kind of, everything just worked together. But the thing is, Jolt was just going to sponsor it. And I said, that's not right. This is a community thing. It's just not about Jolt doing it. I think we need to get all the other credit unions, because this is a community event. And it is a community celebration, and it is a community coming together, to shine a little light in the little ones.
All right, we're going to take a break, come back, and we will tell you all about the event and how you can participate. When we return, we're talking to Bridget Stefalino from Jolt Credit Union, representing Impact Saginaw. More ahead on WSGW. And let me take a moment to talk about Krijak's House Family Restaurant. Proud to be a business that serves this area with the finest in dining and takeout, and grateful for all of you who have supported them over time. They look forward to serving you all every day. It's takeout day at Krijak's from 11 to 7 today. Tomorrow, 11 to 8, Krijak's House Family Restaurant at the corner of Cass and Michigan on Bay City South Side. And for takeouts, reservations, information, parties, events, 894-5531, 989-894-5531. Remember, they are closed on Mondays. We will be back with more after these notes.
Take a sleigh ride with the Beach Boys at Soaring Eagle Casino. Friday night, December 17th. Make it a an unforgettable holiday with the Beach Boys.
Frosty Snowman was a jolly happy soul with a corn cob pipe and a button nose and 2 eyes made out of coal.
The Beach Boys, holiday classics and greatest hits.
Surfing USA. I get around.
Tickets start at $24. On sale now at the Soaring Eagle and Eagles Landing box offices or online at etix.com. Holiday Harmonies. Tickets on sale Saturday at Soaring Eagle Casino. Details at SoaringEagleCasino.com.
Attorney Joe Cordell. New school, new job, new home. Change is hard and can leave you feeling isolated. And divorce delivers one of life's hardest blows. You counted on are suddenly gone. But you don't have to walk through this alone. For more than 30 years, Cordell & Cordell has guided men through the challenges of divorce. You're not alone. Call Cordell & Cordell.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Detroit area attorneys. Offices in Troy and Ann Arbor. CordellCordell.com.
We're still facing COVID-19, and now it's flu season. Why not face them together? You can get your COVID-19 vaccine and your flu vaccine at the same time. Just ask your doctor. You'll save time and you could save lives. People 65 and older and those with underlying health conditions are especially at risk. Let's face COVID-19. Michigan, get vaccinated. Learn more at michigan.gov/flu. Sponsored by the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services and the Michigan Association of Broadcasters.
Research shows that people remember radio ads with repetition. So to help you remember that Liberty Mutual Insurance Company customizes your home insurance so you only pay for what you need, here's a repetitive ad. Okay. Research shows that people remember radio ads with repetition. So to help you remember that Liberty Mutual Insurance Company customizes your home insurance so you only pay for what you need, here's a repetitive ad. Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Station, anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
On air and online from the Stone Specialist Studios. This is 100.5 and 790 News Radio WSGW.
And we're back with you here on Focus, talking to Bridget Stefalino from Jolt Credit Union about an event coming up next week that's going to be all week. So give us a little idea. We got Jolt involved because we needed flashlights.
Yeah.
And Saginaw was gracious enough to buy them.
Yes.
So tell us how we're going to use them and what all the event is about next week.
All right. This is so cool. So
I'm not hearing you. Just a minute. Now you can talk.
Now
Go
I
ahead.
can talk. I know.
Yeah.
I'm sure my husband would like a mute on me too. So anyway, what's really cool about this event is we named it The Lights Before Christmas. And so it's just an opportunity to shine a little light on the lives of the little ones, you know, who have to spend their time in the hospital. And so starting on Monday through Friday, we are inviting everybody in the community to come out, join us at 1000 Houghton. We're going to be there. There's going to be a big arch provided by Andy Brady and Dig Deep Sports Events. They'll have twinkle lights on, so you can't miss it. And what we're going to do is we're going to gather there. Each night we're going to have, you know, some kind of a little entertainment that will be there. We have our radio stations from Alpha Media joining us each night, and our special singers, you know, we have Sheriff Bill Fetterspiel is going to be there, Saginaw Choral Society on Tuesday, Nouvelle on Wednesday, Victorious Believers on Thursday, and we are waiting for one more
Bill is
organization.
going to do Friday.
Who is going to be it?
The sheriff is going to also do Friday.
He's the best, man. He is the best. He's all over the place. So anyway, so what we're going to do is we're asking everybody to get around there around 7:45-ish, because at 8 o'clock is when we're going to do this. Now we will have hot cocoa and we'll have cookies and Tim Hortons. So what we're going to do is I brought props I brought prompts. So anyway, so the first 100 people on each night will get at least a flashlight, and we have Impact Saginaw thing. And so if the little ones are coming, we'll try and give them one of these.
Glow sticks, yeah.
The glow sticks, and we also have some of these. These are cool. Glow in the dark necklaces. And so what's going to happen at 8 o'clock? We are going to tell people, we're going to count down at 8 o'clock for 2 minutes. We're going to be shining our lights into the windows of where the little ones are going to be, the patients and their families and nurses. And it's just to say, hey, you know what? We're here. We see you. We're sending our love and our warmth and hoping to create a better, experience for them.
And I don't want to forget how this got all started, and that's with the toys.
Yes.
We are collecting toys at all of the credit unions, and we will have a box there. You can bring an unwrapped new toy.
Yep.
All the toys gathered will go up to the children's section at the hospital. The children are there now. We'll get some, and any extras, and we hope there's lots of extras, will be kept for future use in the ward.
Yep.
So bring a toy, come on down. As Bridget said, 7:45. If you get there about 7:30, you can park, by the way, in the CMU Health parking lot, which is just beyond the circle. Houghton will be closed from the circle, the roundabout, to Bond Street. And we'll have fire and police and all kinds of vehicles there shining their lights too. Should be an exciting time.
Super excited. And this is, it's the first, time we're going to be doing this. And, I'm pretty certain that people are going to, want to participate in this.
Yeah. It doesn't cost you anything. Come on down.
No. And if anything, it makes you feel good too.
Yeah,
Hearing that warmth and the joy of the holiday season.
All right. Well, we're going to talk more with Carol Cottrell tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. about the foundation and the children's unit. But Bridget, thanks for being with us today, and thanks for the Impact Saginaw help in this project.
Absolutely. And thank you, Art, for everything you have done. You really, you're like the magic behind everything.
No.
Yeah.
Let's not go there. Anyway, love you, kid. We'll talk to you. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
Bridget Stefalino, and we thank you for joining us. Tomorrow, we will talk to Carol Cottrell in the morning. And then next Monday in the evening, as a matter of fact, Monday through Friday, each night at 7:30, you can show up at 1000 Houghton. And at 7:45, we will have some musical interlude for about 10-15 minutes. And then at 8 o'clock, we shine the lights. It should be a lot of fun, and looking forward to it. We will take our last break and be back to close out.
RocketGrabPlus.com. This week on RocketGrabPlus.com, we have an extended Black Friday deal for 120 Fitness in Saginaw. You are going to get your monthly membership to 120 Fitness for only $16. It's usually $32, but you are getting yours half off. 120 top-of-the-line cardio equipment, a variety of strength training equipment, and fitness classes like yoga and Zumba. If you want to get in shape in a clean and comfortable environment, head to RocketGrabPlus.com right now to snag your deal.
RocketGrabPlus.com. This is CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger. Do you want to be a hero for the holidays? How about getting your loved one a new iPhone? That's right. Pure Talk has iPhone 12 starting at just $479 through the end of the year. And sure, they have 13s too. Switch to Pure Talk. Great nationwide 5G coverage. Yes, the same coverage as the big guys, but the average family saves over $800 a year. Now that's no need to overpay for Verizon, AT&T, or T-Mobile. Plus, with Pure Talk's 30-day risk-free guarantee, you've got nothing to lose. Unlimited talk, text, and 6 gigs of data is just $30 a month. And like I said, the iPhone 12, just $479. From your cell phone, dial pound 250 and say Jill50, and you'll save an additional 50% off your first month. Plus, save on a new phone. That's pound 250, say Jill50. Pure Talk is simply smarter wireless. Some restrictions apply. See site for details.
Are you the parent of a 2 to 7-year-old? Listen closely for an exciting free radio offer. By now, the Parents' Choice Award-winning online learning program that's actually changing the lives of early learners everywhere.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
Right now, we're offering a special radio promo to try it free for a month. But you have to go to abcmouse.com/radio to claim your free month. That's abcmouse.com/radio. Sponsored by Age of Learning.
O'Reilly. This is Claudia's O'Reilly Auto Parts story.
I had just moved to a new city and barely even knew where the grocery store was yet. When my car wouldn't start one morning, I didn't know who to ask about local shops. But I remembered a name from back. I called and they pointed me to a great mechanic just down the street. Now I feel a little more at home.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Tom Sullivan, weeknights at 7 on 100.5 and 790. News Radio WSGW.
All right, that'll do it for Focus today. We thank Bridget for being with us. We thank you for joining us, too. We'll be back tomorrow with lots more. Time now to head over to the Farm Report with Farm Director Terry Henney. That will be along next.